A week removed from the elimination race of the round of 12, the Icon Cup Series focuses up on a new battle, one happening at Talladega. 113 laps stand ahead of these drivers, and between them and a ticket to the final round. A win tonight could be exactly what a driver needs to relax them before the gauntlet that decides a champion in this, the Icon Cup Series. Welcome to Pit Stop TV in the virtual Lincoln, Alabama. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV. I'll have Zach Murtis alongside very shortly, and it's a pleasure to join you for continuing coverage of the 2024 Icon Cup Series. Tonight's coverage from Talladega is brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams, by ATVO, and by CC's Business. It is good to be here at the virtual Talladega Super Speedway, a place that we know and love oh so very much. It has become one of NASCAR's greatest racetracks in its years and years of history within the schedule yearly, twice yearly on the NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, and Truck Series schedule. Of course, Xfinity and Trucks don't necessarily go there twice a year, but it pops into each schedule anyways. Yearly, of course, is on the ARCA Menard Series schedule, and that's about it. But Talladega has become known and loved over these, 60 years or so, coming up on it. That's scary. In the NASCAR calendar, and some hate it, some love it, some end up benefiting even though they don't quite like it very much. Some want to be right there in victory lane. Everybody wants to be right there in victory lane, I should say. Everybody wants to win this race and go to victory lane, punch their ticket on through to the round of 4. Here's a look at the track map for the Talladega Super Speedway. Capacity of 80,000, built in the late 60s, opened in 1969. 2.66 miles in length. It's built to be the biggest, the baddest NASCAR track of them all, and boy is it even today. We missed you at Kansas a week ago, everybody, and boy, it was not how we wanted things to go, but of course, with the impacts of Hurricane Helene, we just weren't able to broadcast that event. We had to kind of step aside for a week and let weather be weather, and wait on the Spectrum Internet to come back to us. It has come back to us. Obviously, we're here this evening. Let's take a look at these point standings as things have changed. Boy, have they ever. Adam Ball, Charlie Widener, Kyle Purcell, Jacob Gladulich, now the 4 drivers looking in from the outside, while 4 drivers sit nice and pretty. 3 of them have 20-point gaps or more back to the cut line. Ryan Patty, the only of the 4 drivers that are currently in to have less than 20 points back to that cut line. And really, I'd say those top 4 are very safe this evening. Very safe for now, but they've got to go through Talladega, Charlotte, Roval, and Las Vegas in order to make it to the Final 4. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very, very tough. And races like this evening are exactly what Adam Ball, Charlie Widener, Kyle Purcell, and Jacob Gladulich are looking for. They're looking for this wild card race at Talladega as an opportunity to punch their way in and play upset in that round of 4. Now, as we talk about the round of 4, it's worth noting the round of 4 in this Icon Cup Series is a bit different from what you might expect. It's actually 3 races long. Miami, Martinsville, and Phoenix. 3 races to decide a champion. It's not just that one race win to get it. Or highest finisher in that one race to get it. It is 3 races where drivers will accrue points, and the most points at the end of the round wins the championship. With all of that out of the way, qualifying is beginning in the background, and we're about to get going for the evening. It is late in the day here in the sim, and boy, this is going to be a pretty cool stage for qualifying. Let's flip on over into the sim, take a look at it. There you go. You can see just how low the sun is in the sky. We can also take a look at the Whiplash SimCam's weather details. 80.8 degrees in the air, 83 degrees on track, but what it doesn't tell you is just how late it is in the day. It is really, really late in the day here. I'm trying to see if we can get a decent camera angle. One from turn 2 or something. I'm trying to see just how low the sun is, but I don't think there's any good camera angle for it. Well, anyways, you can tell it's late in the day here in the sim. Look at how low the sun is in the back. Well, it's behind the camera right now. But you can just tell. Anyways, cars on track, qualifying, that's happening. A look here at Robert Bluen in the Puma Chevrolet. There's the sun and how low it is down and outside of turn 4. We're in nearly nighttime qualifying for these guys. There's a look at Robert Bluen. How about Mike Jennings making his return to the series? Finally back after I don't know how many races. Ryan Patty is, of course, here. Adam Ball is here. Hanover Fist, of course, is here. A few new drivers. How about Kyle Diaz in the 26 car working off of turn number 4 and down to the start-finish line to begin lap number 1. We've also got Devin Hudgens in the... He's going to be scored this evening as a 22 car, but he's in the 81. A new Ford Dark Horse competitor. We've also got... Let's see, where did he go? I'm looking for him. Vinny Maestas. He's not on track yet. Let's hope he gets on track for qualifying. Here's a look at Evan Patinko. Patinko having some connection difficulties, as his paint scheme, it seems, is not been updated from the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series that we broadcast on Tuesdays. Regardless, here's Vincent Loria, fastest lap 1. Now the times come rolling in. Cameron Thompson goes to the top of the board on lap number 1. And let's bring that ticker up and show you where he stands. He's the only driver lower than a 53 so far, 53 second lap time. Charlie Widener is on track for lap number 2. And Nathan Finnegan is going to go up to the top of the board in the Kodak Chevrolet. So Finnegan bumps up. He's going to bump ahead of Cameron Thompson and Charles Widener. Stephen Tuck, Kevin Gunther, your top 5 at the moment. Your top 10 will be completed by Kyle Diaz. We have got 31 cars in all, it looks like, all the way through Kyle Gilbert, who loaded in qualifying, did not make a practice lap. But Nathan Finnegan, the fastest of the bunch so far. Let's see if he can go faster here on lap number 2. Nearly nighttime qualifying here, Zach. It is late in the day in the sim, and Finnegan is going to work down onto the apron here, trying to cut every bit of racetrack that he can, keep it as low as possible, and it's not going to be any faster for car number 6. He will stay first, but at a 52.974, and now Kyle Diaz is going to shoot from 10th to 1st.
It's a big-time money lap right there. 0.02 of a second. Just about he gets over Nathan Finnegan. And I would like to point out, Andrew, the amount of drivers currently in the top 10 that are non-playoff drivers. That's going to be a big factor tonight, especially as we move into the round of 8. As Gladjulich checks the board, I
believe that was his out lap.
I was going to say, that looked like his out lap right there. But he's going to rip that yellow line in the Choose Cone Chevrolet. Let's take a look at Kyle Gilbert. He's on... I believe he's on his out lap as well. No.
Either on his out lap or his first flying lap, but it looks like it might be his first flying lap for the IM second Chevrolet. Joshua Clemens recently eliminated from the playoffs on a cool down. He will sink down to the bottom of the apron there. Eric Smith comes across the line, goes a bit faster. He's going to jump from 21st up to... Actually, he's going to stay 21st. But he gets a lot faster there on lap number 2. Sean Purcell is back and sliding through the grass, crashing after his qualifying lap. And there's Brian Smith here on lap number 3, so that lap will not count for him, as time will expire with Jacob Gladjulich. Hello, Jacob Gladjulich to the top of the board in the final seconds of qualifying. And there we go. The sim is going to correct and get back to the daytime.
By what 1/1000th of a second.
What a lap time. A buzzer beater, too. That was at the last possible second.
Well, you know what they say, better late than never.
And you know what? He was just barely not late. He was nearly late. Barely. He was nearly late to the line. I mean, that was a matter of a second maybe less. Had he been that thousandth of a second slower, who knows if that would have counted. I mean, that is incredible. You see a pit party now getting ready on the bottom of the racetrack there. Let's take a look again at the point standings because this is a lot to recap. Joshua Clemens, Kevin Gunther, Cody Eldred, Zach Lockett, as of Kansas a week ago, have been eliminated from competition, and they will now race for 5th place in the point standings. But that leaves us with the round of 8 here for Talladega, the Charlotte Roval, and Las Vegas. Brian Smith, Vincent Loria, Nathan Finnegan, Ryan Patty are all in. Adam Ball, Charlie Widener, Kyle Purcell, and Jacob Gladgelich, our pole sitter for the evening, are all out. And this, Zach, is the perfect opportunity for one of the drivers in red to get a win, punch their ticket in, and relax before that round of 4. Start practicing. Get all the practice time they can. Forget about the Roval in Las Vegas. Just focus on Miami, Martinsville, and Phoenix.
Through that, but the thing that sits in the back of my mind is the fact that these drivers are also within striking distance that they really wouldn't need a win. I think the only person that would be worried if any of these drivers got a win would be Brian Smith, considering he would just keep floating further and further down the running order, but he still got a huge gap to all of those drivers below him. So the thing sits in the back of my mind, Andrew, is the fact of, do you want to come out here to Talladega where you know that anybody's got a shot at a win and try to win this race, or do you want to relax now, kick back, get a few stage points maybe, and try to sneak your way into the round of 4?
Definitely want to try and win. You got to go for it all this evening, I feel like. 31 cars here. You really never know what's going to happen at Talladega. You, in my opinion, have to swing for the fences tonight. Then put all the practice time you can in for the Roval and try to maximize stage points on a strategy call next week. You want to stay on the racetrack and try to put yourself out front when the stage end comes around. But that's just my opinion. There's multiple ways to play this stage, of course, or play this round, of course. That's just, if I was looking up in Adam Ball's position, for example, or Charlie Widener, or Kyle Purcell, or Jacob Gladgelich, if I was looking up in one of their positions, I would be swinging for the fences tonight, making sure I'm up front as much as possible, whether it's for the stage end, the race end, it doesn't matter. You want to be up front, and you want to find friends.
I can respect it.
And another good point there, actually, is friends. Just that. Charlie Widener has none. Kyle Purcell has his brother, Jacob Gladgelich, and Adam Ball. They at least have some teammates here. But their teammates, Nathan Finnegan and Ryan Patty, are also on that same agenda of trying to maximize what they can. Really, there aren't many friends to go around that are actually going to help them out, I feel like. I mean, sure, Adam Ball and Jacob Gladgelich, they will find people who can help them, whether it's Cody Eldred or Kevin Gunther, Mike Jennings, who's back this evening, but they don't have many friends to go around. They're going to be spread pretty thin, even though they have friends. And Charlie Widener, like I said, has no teammates left. Kyle Purcell has his brother, Sean Purcell. It's going to be very interesting to see who can actually use their teammates, whatever teammates they might have, to their advantage. And then we go road course racing in a week where teammates don't mean anything at all. Then we have that speedway race at Las Vegas. It's going to be a very interesting round of 8 here in October. But warm-up is ending. Let's take a look at some paint schemes on the racetrack, Zach, beginning with Stephen Tuck in his chrome number 10. Adam Ball in his weather and plaid. Number 19, there's a hook echo there on the side of the car. You've got Logan Romney down there in the bright blue Money Lion Toyota. We've got Anthony DeSeo in a camo. Can't even see it. Ford Mustang Dark Horse. Devin Hudgens here in a black and gold 81 car. And then Kevin Gunther out there in his usual paint scheme. It's been interesting to see what kind of different paint schemes these guys show up to the racetrack each week with, and I love what is going on there for the 6 car, the Kodak. That car won at Richmond, if you recall. The Kodak Behavioral Health Care number 6 won at Richmond, so to bring that paint scheme back, I think, is a good thing for Nathan Finnegan. But we'll see if paint schemes mean anything this evening, Zach. It's going to be a tough one for these guys for sure.
That it is. I'm a big fan of Joshua Clemens' paint scheme that he's got, that black and red 44, as we saw Finnegan there practicing his pit road entry. But, and don't hate me for this one, okay? Don't hate me for it at all. Clemens' paint scheme, the black, the white, and the red, I would probably replace that red with yellow. Just saying. Gotta love some black and yellow, you know?
I think he's even got some green on there. So black, red, green, maybe some white in there as well. Well, let's take a look at the Whiplash SimCam's race details before we go down to the grid and meet the field that is 31 drivers strong. 113 laps this evening, Zach. 36 in stage 1, 36 in stage 2, 41 in stage 3. These fuel runs should be pretty consistently around 25 laps. I think we'll see some fuel saving here. We saw it in the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series race. There's some really bizarre fuel saving. Mason Houseman was with me for that one. I'm sorry, Mason Houseman was in that race. Who was it? Were you on that one?
I was.
Okay, I was going to say, Mason Houseman was here for Bristol, the Icon race. That's what it was. That's what I'm thinking of. Anyways, yes, fuel saving. I think we're going to see some of it this evening, and it's going to, the schedule in the spreadsheet said 115 laps. The race information post at 113, and the race itself is saying 111.
Stage end will be lap 36 and lap 72.
Yep, so that
race control.
That at least is consistent with what was posted and what's on the graphic, but hey, that's okay. A small difference. It's 2 laps shorter of a race, and I'm sure we're going to extend by more than 2 laps as the field is rolling off the grid. Let's meet the starting grid then for 111 laps at Talladega Superspeedway. On pole, it's Jacob Gladulich in the 14 car. He needs this kind of start. He needs track position and to fight for some stage points early. Kyle Diaz rolls off from second. Starting third, it's going to be Adam Ball in the 19 car. He won at Daytona not so long ago. Nathan Finnegan will start to his outside. Starting fifth, it's Cody Neal. Sixth will be Kyle Gilbert. Kyle Gilbert will not start sixth. It looks like he's going to start from the pit lane potentially in car 227. That'll bump everybody on the outside line up 1 spot. Cameron Thompson, Charlie Widener, that's row 4. And row 5 is Evan Patinko in the 96 and Devin Hudgens in the 81.
Top 10 out of the way, and we roll through the rest of the field. Mike Jennings and Ryan Patty. Ryan Patty is one of our playoff drivers looking to secure a spot into the round of 4. Watch for him to be making moves early on. Brian Smith, another driver, top seed in the playoffs right now. Not the best qualifying performance out of 78, but Sean Purcell right behind him, but hey, they're still close to that top 10. Jacob Smith and Joshua Clemens, 2 drivers who are not in the playoffs, but still have strong runs here in super speedways. I'm sure we'll see Jacob Smith in the fight quite a bit tonight. Rolling through the rest of the grid, though, as we come through Talladega turn number 4, Stephen Tuck and Kevin Gunther in 17th and 18th starting spot tonight, and then rounding out row 10, Anthony Tiseo and Robert Bluen.
We'll let the rest go by the bottom of the screen as these guys drive down to the start of this one. 111 laps in the tank, ready to go racing. Boy, it's going to be a fun one. Stage end of stage 1 will be lap 36. We've got a long ways to go to get there into the Geico restart zone. Green flag from Talladega. A very different look from what we saw in the spring when we came here, and it was all foggy throughout the skies. A clear sky kind of day, a clear sky kind of afternoon, and a big move from Charlie Widener down to the bottom of the racetrack here in turn 3. Diaz and Finnegan stay topside. Everybody else working the bottom, it looks like, aside from, well, you see the cars right behind. It's going to be Hudgens, Patty, Purcell, Clemens, and other Purcell right behind Diaz and Finnegan on the top side. Lap 1 will be complete here, and it's going to be Finnegan to the line first.
Lots of moving around throughout the field at the moment, and we're just on lap 1. We got them 3 wide behind the leaders in the main pack. You saw Jacob Smith in the middle, Evan Patinko up on the top side. That was out of the right side of your screen. Here you see the fight for the lead. Finnegan still leads that bottom line. There was a big breakup on the start of the race, and a lot of drivers jumped to the top line, made it 3 wide on the start. So you see a lot of breaking up throughout the field at the moment as we see Cody Neal and Jacob Smith at the top line. We look on with Evan Patinko. He's having a little bit of a blinking issue just a second ago, but everyone getting single file into the lanes they want to be in. If you're looking for fuel saving though, Andrew, that bottom line is going to be the way to go this first stage.
down below the rear axle, the pace car, as Ryan Patty comes across the stripe there. Second place to his teammate Nathan Finnegan. Patty, though, with the strength across the stripe. He had a draft, had gotten to the lead for a second. He's going to fall back now as the KU Motorsports bunch works the very top lane of the racetrack. That's going to be Josh Clemens leading the charge with Cody Neal, Jacob Smith, and Vincent Loria in tow. And boy, are they cooking on the outside lane.
That they are. Clemens leading that top line. Patty now in the sucker hole. That's a big talking point tonight. Every time we come into the speedways, the sucker hole is going to be a big talking point. But you see Clemens grabbing fifth gear up on that top line. He's losing a little bit of ground through the corners, but check out the runs that they will get going down the straightaway. They're still hanging tough with this front group. They may look like they're going backwards, but I assure you, ladies and gentlemen, once they form up a little bit more, they will be going forwards. Now they've got 5 cars, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars strong on that top line. So now things are starting to pick up a little bit. You can see that Clemens is leading that group forward and side drafting a little bit, creating some division and letting them continue to build that momentum.
Couple of cars that don't have the draft. One of them is going to be Kyle Gilbert, an independent driver. He sits back in 28th. Nathan Brzezowski, another independent driver, sits back in 29th. They're the only 2 drivers to not have any kind of draft. Hanover Fist and Charles Woods at least have each other, although they are alone back here in their little 2-car tandem. Everybody else is in the lead 25-car pack as they come around and complete lap number 4. 2 cars did not take the start of this race. They are Logan Romney and Chase Lewis, from what I can tell.
We're 3 wide once again, about 2 rows deep as Teseo goes purple. You're not going to be able to get an accurate description of which car is the fastest on the racetrack here at Talladega, because you'll see a lot of drivers going purple throughout the night as we see them roll down the Alabama Gang super stretch. There's a lot of moving around, I will say, that I was not expecting to see within the first 5 laps. You see Clemens now getting pushed on past Nathan Finnegan, side by side for second between Finnegan and Neal. So like we talked about, Andrew, that top line formed up pretty well, and that allowed Clemens to move on forward and carry the momentum, as now it looks like Neal is going to try and get clear of Nathan Finnegan. They're going to try to bring Jacob Smith with them. Boy, would I hate to be a spotter at Talladega right about now.
1 car way up high, that's Anthony Teseo back there. He gets back in line, or at least is going to try to, in front of Chase Lewis. Lewis is in the race, but I don't see Logan Romney in the 42 car. And it looks like Vinny Maestros also did not start this race in the number 70. He loaded in practice, and that was about it. He didn't even run a qualifying lap, as Brad Delph has parked it for the evening. It looks like he's going to be done. He might have lagged out, but regardless, this race continues on. The top side has a bunch of strength. The bottom is dwindling.
That it is. The top line always seems to form up here at Talladega Super Speedway. I have always been a strong advocate for the top line. One car dipped down to the bottom line.
That was Hudgens,
I believe.
First start here with the Icon Cup Series, making his very initial debut here in car number 81. At least scored as the 81, or scored as the 22 rather, but in the 81 paint scheme. Didn't even get his graphic made, so his number doesn't appear on the ticker, but that's okay. We'll get that for Charlotte in a week's time. He's got the Pit Stop TV logo on the side of the car. Love that, but he's got help from Finnegan now as he went down to the bottom of the racetrack, and they have mounted a charge. They're coming back now to the inside of Cameron Thompson and Jacob Smith, trying to get that bottom line rolling again.
Don't see that bottom line picking up a lot of steam, Andrew. They got a lot of cars down there that could keep that ball rolling, but it doesn't seem like they're formed up as well as that top line is. You see Diaz make a move up to the top line, ditch that bottom line, which is going to help the top and prevent the bottom from moving forward even further. So it looks like Hudgens is really starting to pick it up now next to that 7 car of Thompson. As I say that, you see Thompson driving away out of camera shot. Laurie is going on by. There you see Diaz. That is Chase Lewis as well, right behind them. So a lot of big movers now throughout the field. You see Ryan Patty. Nope, excuse me, that's Cody Eldred in that 32 car. Oh, we're 3 wide, Andrew.
Lewis to the outside of the 67 of Vincent Loria, and I wonder sometimes with these newer drivers if they're fully aware of certain drivers' alliances and teams and whatnot, because, as Loria is going to get into the side of the 84, Hello, I don't know what that's all about, if that was intentional or what that was, but he's going to pack up on the left side of that 84 again. That seemed a little bit abnormal. I'm glad they didn't crash, that's what I'll say. Anyways, what I was getting at is I wonder if these newer drivers are fully aware of certain alliances and whatnot, because jumping up and trying to go to the outside of Vincent Loria as if he's going to drop to the bottom side when he's got his KU Motorsports teammates ahead of him on the top, I just don't think that's going to happen, as now Brian Smith pulls up behind the 67 and the 84, falls back a couple of rows. But the top of the racetrack, Zach, seems to be the place to go, and we heard multiple drivers talk about it at the end of the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series race when they came here. They all liked the top side. They all went there a lot, and it seemed like that was the place to be. We even got a line of cars running around the very top of the racetrack at one point. Literally everybody was in that line, and it was a 20-some-odd car race. So we could see the same thing here this evening with 29, now 28 left running. And we'll also have to watch out for it on Wednesday when the SimRap Market Series goes to Daytona to open their series. A lot of restrictor plate style racing going on for us at Pit Stop TV right now in this NASCAR Next Gen car, and there's a very common theme. We even saw it in the dual races this past Wednesday. Everybody flocking to the top of the racetrack. It just seems fast.
I don't know what it is with this next-gen race car, Andrew, but it seems to like the top line of these speedways just about as much as anybody thought they would, which is going nowhere with that statement because nobody figured they'd really rip the top line like this. But it seems to create an air pocket when they're ripping up on that top line that helps propel the car forward, as Brian Smith now is looking to lead that top line as we're coming up on some lap cars. We're going to take it on the yellow line. And look at Jacob Smith, Andrew. He said, I see that top line rolling. I want a part of the action. Now Cody Neal comes up to block. It looks like Clemens and Neal are recognizing the top line is the way to go. And Brian Smith is probably kicking himself saying, I had a run. Maybe coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Everybody moving up as Nathan Brzezowski stays low. The top side is rolling. The middle is what it was going to become for the 4 and 44. They now move up and block that top lane advancement. Jacob Smith helped them get there. That leaves Cameron Thompson on the inside. Kyle Diaz down there. Vincent Loria is down in the middle lane. And then way down low, Brzezowski will be caught by, looks like Ryan Patty and Steven Tuck back there. Brian Smith is going to duck out of line and go down low.
Go down low. It's an understatement. He's going all the way to the bottom.
Nobody went with him.
Oh, he's trying to come back up, Andrew. That was a risky move right there out of Brian Smith. Look who's right behind him, though. This is Loria. They've had a little bit of a run-in here and there, you would say, Andrew. Thinking back to Watkins Glen, thinking back to Gateway, honestly, a lot of instances where those two have had run-ins together and have really set themselves up to be championship rivals, and now they're forced to work together on that bottom line.
They've certainly had a moment or two, that's for sure. And now working together here at Talladega as they work on the very bottom lane of the racetrack. Neither one of them, I think, like this kind of racing very much. Certainly Brian Smith doesn't want to have to rely on it. Thankfully for him, he's got 60 points back to the cut line. So long as he maintains that, he should be A-okay and good to go. I think he won the last couple of races. He won at Bristol to make it 12, and I think won at Kansas a week ago to make it 13. So 13 wins of the season now for that guy, and the numbers just keep on stacking in his favor. He's going to charge to the race lead with help from Loria. Vincent Gilbert will go a lap down, and the top lane has dissolved. What has happened?
Quickly it can change. Now everyone's 3 wide. You know, we saw this in the NASCAR Cup Series race earlier today. You know, the 2 lanes themselves can form up a lot of energy, but when you have that top side rolling, as you saw Jacob Smith almost turn Chase sideways, you have the top lines rolling with 3 lanes of themselves, not 2 wide, 3 wide. The energy is dispersed. The drivers can't seem to get the cars where they need to be and how they need to, excuse me, I'm a little tongue-tied, and how they need them to be in an effort to move forward. Like I said, energy gets dispersed, so you need to form up, get a little bit closer together, rather than being 3 wide all the time, because you're just punching bigger holes in the air and you got way more dirty air coming off of 3 lanes than you do off of 2 lanes.
Well, I think those guys were starting to save, admittedly.
What?
Save fuel.
Right, but they've been racing this whole time, Andrew. That's the big thing here.
Well, but and that's what I'm saying is I think that's why the lines dispersed. They dissolved entirely. I think they were starting to save, and the lane that's emerged here on the bottom is everybody who said, no, I'm going to keep it matted, keep it completely wide open, because those guys were not pushing all of a sudden. That pack that had developed were not pushing. And now you see pushing here from Loria getting the 78 out to a big lead. These guys seem to be racing full steam ahead, and look at that. It's 5 playoff drivers as well, taking up the top 5 positions. Only 5 positions, only that top 5, earn stage points here in the Icon Cup Series. It's imperative to them that they be in the top 5. So, out of the 8 playoff drivers that are here this evening, 5 of them in the top 5 is now Purcell is overtaken, so 4 of the top 5. You can tell where their priorities are at, and it's at the right place.
Clemens starting to make the top line work, and I think Loria is starting to recognize it. Whether or not he wants to go up there yet remains to be seen. But I will say that 67 car, Vincent Loria, has been very, very aggressive with the pushing. I don't think these guys are in terms of saving mode, Andrew, because if Loria was saving, he would not be hanging onto that back bumper of that 78 car down the straightaways like he has been, because he has been so aggressive with his pushing. The only other thing he could be doing to make it more aggressive is pushing the corners. To see Jacob Smith now take a look to the inside line. Cody Neal's going to drop down, but Clemens is dropping down as well. That leaves Purcell and Lewis up on the top all by themselves. But the run still forms, and now you've got Clemens and Purcell fighting for the race lead. Neal with a wiggle.
Oh, how things change. I'm watching one lap, I look away at another monitor for the next lap, and then everything's completely different when I come back and zone back in. It's looking at, different notes from different drivers and things in the Discord chat. Come back to reality, and everything is completely changed. It's crazy how fast it all changes with this current package. One lap, you could be single file, top lane. The next lap, you're 3 wide, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows deep. The next lap, you're single file bottom. The lap after that, you're going to be double file just like we are now, and Sean Purcell takes over the race lead. A non-playoff driver now out front, along with Josh Clemens and Chase Lewis. Remember how I just said we had the top 5 drivers filled by playoff drivers? Now it's the top 5 drivers filled by non-playoff drivers.
Lots of changes in the hands, Andrew. That's Talladega for you, though. Everything can change in an instant at this track. There is no surefire way to really hang on to the lead for very long here. This top line continues to space out now. Lewis drops to the bottom. That leaves Eldred up on top. He's going to try to fight for this one. And look who has worked himself up inside the top 10, Andrew. Our opening winner for the playoffs, Adam Ball. He won the last Superspeedway race at Daytona, and now he's making himself known up here because this is his best bet in pushing himself forward into the championship four. Adam Ball has been quite the impressive driver throughout the playoffs, I will say, Andrew. He has been able to point himself into a good spot, and now he's looking to try and take it further into the championship four as Chase Lewis is blocking both lanes. And Andrew, I'm hearing it over the radio. Pit stops this lap, leading them, Vincent Loria.
Wow, pit stops this early. Well, the pit window we were handed was 20 to 25 laps. We'll see if we do officially have pit stops here. And yes, the KU Motorsports bunch, led by Josh Clemens and Cody Neal, will come in.
Oh,
Loria just gets down to pit speed, it looks like. Jacob Smith, Kyle Gilbert, and Cameron Thompson also pit with these guys. So an interesting bunch coming in.
No black flags. Everyone got it down.
Oh, contact! Clemens and Neal. That's the problem with running down the left side of pit lane. That's why they don't do it in real life. That's why NASCAR has that rule in place. You run down pit lane on the very left side, you're gonna have problems. Teammates trying to pit, and they're running into each other.
Well, it looks like this is all gonna get sorted out through God knows what, as the drivers make it off a pit road nice and steady. But I like this call, Andrew. I like the short pit call. because you're going to spend less time on pit road, and you're going to have more availability to push towards the end of the stages. Big wiggles by Teseo. I'm not sure what's going on out of that 15 car, but he is having one heck of a day by wiggling back and forth like that. But it looks like him and Adam Ball are going to make it to the bottom line. No takers to the pit lane that time by, so you're going to have those 6 cars back there that pitted by themselves, all by, well, really all by themselves. No other way to put it.
Things calming for a moment here at Talladega Superspeedway. Adam Ball, the lone playoff driver in the top 5. Things are changing. Some drivers are slowing down. Some drivers now calling out that they're pitting. Chase Lewis is third, and he's calling out to the pit lane. Here we go.
Big group right here.
The 04, the 01, the 78, the 15, the 84. And Lewis locks up all the way into the pit lane. 5 cars going to pit here on lap 21.
Might want to take left side tires or anything to get some form of grip back into that car, but lucky for him, no black flags once again from this group. No speeding penalties at all. Short pitting once again though, Andrew. Lots of drivers taking it off the pit lane. Brian Smith with a really slow stop though.
A little bit slow. I think just packing the car full of fuel. A lot of these guys might be on auto fuel now or using a third-party app to get exactly the amount of fuel they need. He might have taken a full tank as we have more pitters. Here comes the 95 of Charlie Widener leading this next charge into the pit lane. Evan Patinko, Devin Hudgens, he comes in. Looks like Steven Tuck, Kyle Diaz, they all come in. Brzezowski, Lewin.
So far.
Just about, yeah, that's what, 7 cars?
7, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8. I'm trying to look past the pit stalls here. There's another car coming in at the tail end of the pit lane. Yeah, he's pitting all by himself. Yeah, 3, 6, 7, just about 8 cars. Here in Cody Eldridge and Adam Ball might be taking it to the pit lane now, our leaders. As this group makes their way off. There's the first group of 3 cars.
Loria, Neal, and Smith. And here comes the rest.
There's the group. Lots of cars. Big tire smoke from Gladulich. Huge lockup. That was major for the 14 car. Black flag, Steven Tuck.
So black flag for the 10.
Group.
That might have been speeding on exit or a blend line violation potentially.
Checking back for you right now. That's going to be a blend line violation for that 10 car.
Here's the 14 of Gladulich. He'll work up off the pit lane with Patty and everybody else from CCR and ECR. That organization all putting together. Where is Vincent Loria? There he is, smoking up on the outside of these guys. So 7 cars put it in that final group. Mike Jennings, the final of them. Here goes Loria, Neal, and Smith, and it seems like first in, first out FIFO. That's going to work.
That it will. Should also mention Nathan Brzezowski also got a black flag off pit road. Not sure what that one was for, but he'll be serving his penalty with the 10 car of Steven Tuck.
Problems here. Jacob Smith going to lose touch with his teammates, Vincent Loria and Cody Neal. And this is going to bring that ECR-CCR group right back to him. We're going to have a pack again at the front. It's just going to take us a lap or two. But look at all those cars right behind these lead 3. But what they've proven here, Zach, is in a pinch, they can pit faster than the rest.
They've also proven the short pit is very much beneficial. They spent way less time on pit road than anybody else, but look at the big run that the group is going to get. Adam Ball is trying to retake the lead. Ryan Patty's with him. Now Cody Neal moves up to the top. Adam Ball to the middle of the racetrack. Loria is going to go up to the top, come down, block the middle, gets a big bump from the 19. But now Finnegan's with Cody Neal. Ball to the bottom. Big move. Ryan Patty and Adam Ball both niggled there while trying to get to the bottom. That could have ended badly.
Oh, Gladulich to the wall. With help from Purcell, it looks like. He should be okay. We'll jump on board. He should be okay. The car seems like it's driving straight still. But he's trying to get in line, and everybody's abandoning him. He's going to go to the very back end of this 13-car group and try to hang on to the draft. It's going to be tough. Oh, man, there they go, driving away.
be able to catch the back end. It's about a second that it takes to stay in the draft, but the further back you go, the harder it is to catch back up as Gladulech continues to drop further and further.
I think he's going to drop out.
Order. He just might. Looking at the ticker, there he goes, out of the lead draft. So now, the next closest car to that 14 is Smith, who is, well, 2 seconds back and closing fast, and it's easy to close when the car in front of you has no draft. Brian Smith is Anthony DeSeo, Chase Lewis, he's got a pack of 5 right behind him.
Our pole sitter without the lead draft. Here comes the 78, the 15, and everybody else here in this little pack. They'll swallow that 14 car up and might even eject that 14 out the back end of the field. Up front, it's Adam Ball, Ryan Patty, Kevin Gunther, Nathan Finnegan, and Cody Eldred. So CCR, ECR domination right now. Remember, they controlled the race at Daytona. They controlled the race again, for the most part, at Atlanta, where Ryan Patty went to victory lane.
Told me that team knows how to get it done here at these super speedways.
Yeah, drafting tracks seem to be their bread and butter.
The big thing that I'm looking at right now, though, Andrew, is just how well a lot of these drivers have fared from the pit stops. And I'm going to keep making this point because it seems to be an important point now on how strategy plays out. The short pit really benefited these ECR, CCR guys, and it's becoming probably the go-to strategy for the rest of the race because you can one-stop each stage, maybe two-stop the second stage, and put yourself in a situation where you're going to be spending less time on pit road, which is what I'm going to be saying the rest of this race, because look at this pack. Look at how well they fared. Then you take a look back to Brian Smith, who is 6 seconds back with his pack when they all pitted together, and then another pack, which is more than 11 seconds back behind this lead group. So you've got this big front group, you've got a pack of 5 that's about 6 seconds back, and then you've got another pack of 5 or 6 that's about 8 to 11 seconds back. So the strategy calls right now are all over the place.
Well, let's remember, the ECR, CCR group, they pitted at the very last moment of that pit run. They waited until the end. They pitted some 6 laps ago now. The KE Motorsports guys, they pitted 10 laps ago. They were the short pitters. They came out ahead of the rest of this group, but then were caught back up because they were kind of dissolved and broken apart when everybody was merging back onto the racetrack. So I think the short pit can work, which I'm surprised by because you have to take a little more fuel. Potentially. Very potentially. But I'm surprised by it. I think execution, though, is the big thing, because these two groups, they pitted at very different ends of that spectrum, Zach. They came out more or less together. They're racing together now as Smith, Luria, Neal, and Clemens have taken over the race lead once again. It's a cycle here. Rinse and repeat pretty much. But my point is execution on the pit lane is going to, I think, win this race if it stays as green as it has so far this evening. You have to get in and out quick, and it really does come down to execution. You see Brian Smith and others in that second group, they're just not up here because of small miscues in the pit lane, whether it was taking too much fuel or getting a little bit into the box a little bit slow or a little bit slow exiting, something. Some little thing will push them further back, and these guys had no problems, the rest did.
You are on that one. We're rolling towards the end of the stage now, and this is where things are going to start to get interesting when you come down to the points. Loria and what was Adam Ball, who's now dropping down the running order, were the only top 2 playoff drivers in pursuit. Now it's just Loria, who's going to look to expand the lead he has over the cut line should he be able to hold on for a good amount of 4 stage points. Adam Ball moves back into 5th for 1 stage point. Even if you don't get wins, Andrew, stage points are going to be important factors determining if you make it into the round of 4 or not. And it looks like this bottom line is starting to form back up. Purcell has closed up to Jacob Smith. There's a lap car up in front that could be a factor here. I believe that's Eric Smith. So this group looking to catch him soon as they continue to fight for the race lead.
Sean Purcell now leading the bottom. He's getting the push by the 19 of Adam Ball. Adam Ball needs to go somewhere. He needs to start getting aggressive and try to put himself out front of this group. if he wants to get stage points here. Finnegan, Patty, Loria, they're all safe. So then you're looking for Kyle Purcell, who is the tail end of this group. He's in the playoffs and needs those needs those stage points. Then you've got, hang on, let me refer back to my notes here. So Adam Ball, Charlie Widener, and Jacob Gladgelich. Gladgelich, we saw what happened to him. He's down in 17th. Widener is down in 21st. So they are scratches here for stage points in stage 1. We're watching now the 01 and the 19. We're on board with the 01 car of Kyle Purcell. Cameron Thompson pushing the 6th, and Nathan Finnegan on the outside lane. This time by, it'll be 3 laps to go in stage 1.
Wide action, Andrew. These guys know that they're getting towards the end of the stage, and there are stage points on the line, especially for playoff drivers. But look at the top 10. Only 3 drivers in the top 10 are playoff drivers. Lots of representation from non-playoff drivers today, and the next 3 to 4 cars outside the top 10, they're also playoff drivers looking to get themselves some stage points. As Finnegan and Adam Ball now move inside the top 10.
Here goes Purcell. Kyle Purcell trying to move forward. Sean Purcell falling back with Adam Ball. Kyle Purcell still working the very top of the racetrack here. He's got a little bit of help from Finnegan. There he goes on the outside of Cody Eldred. That pushes him into the 5th position. Purcell needs this. Boy, does he need this as Loria look to step out. 2 laps to go to the stage. And there goes Jacob Smith blocking the 0-1.
Loria gets a big run now. He's going to pull alongside the 21. Cody Neal, Joshua Clemens, Cody Eldred right behind. This is going to get interesting here. We're coming to the white flag in the stage. Next time by, 2 lap cars up in front. That's Brzezowski and Smith. Gilbert falling back even further. It's a 4-car breakaway up on the top.
Watch Kyle Purcell. He needs this stage win. At least some stage points. Finnegan dips low just a little bit. Purcell stays in the back end of the 21 car. Finnegan, a big block there on Loria. Holds the 67 at bay. Going to get a big push. Look at how far they move forward, but now they're going to get trapped right behind the lap cars, and there's the crash! Loria never lifted off the 6 car.
They stay green. We're white flagging the stage. Purcell and Finnegan.
Kyle Purcell is going to stay in it, but he is going to fall back now. He's got some left side damage, so Loria now going to take over at the front of this group. How in the world does he get this? I mean, that's incredible. Cameron Thompson on his back end, and Thompson might race him for the stage here. Whoa, Jacob Smith, Ryan Patty with a move. Patty's going to push the 67.
Loria to the top. Coming back to the start-finish line, Andrew. Stage
and
1,
Ryan Patty! Ryan Patty is going to win stage number 1. He stayed low and trusted the process behind those lap cars of Eric Smith and Nathan Brzezowski. Incredible stage win there from the back of the top 10 to the front. He's going to win stage 1 and take those stage points for himself. That's also a playoff point. Loria goes 2nd, Thompson 3rd, Smith and Clemens complete your top 5. And I don't think Nathan Finnegan is going to be happy with car 67.
I don't think he's going to be either. I was expecting to see Patty go with Loria there, but I think Patty recognized the run and kept it where he wanted to be and was able to get that stage win.
Watch this. This is interesting for sure. The block there from Finnegan. Loria has to know those lap cars are down there. He was just looking at them. And just stays in the back end of the 6. I doubt it was intentional, but you've got to be more heads up. I mean, he drilled the back end of Finnegan in. Right there. Finnegan's lifting for cars. He can't go any further.
Not much you can do in that situation. The big thing here, with a big takeaway really, Andrew, is the fact of you can't see past the car in front of you. You don't know what's going on. You rely on whatever is going on in front to be relayed to you.
Yeah, I just don't buy it in this case, only because Loria was down low before looking at those lap cars. He went low to get that draft. Hang on. Let's watch it back. He sees them here. He knows they're down there. At least he should. If it was a surprise jump scare Kevin LePage or something, I get it, but he knows they're down there.
Could have seen the cars right there after they passed the line. He poked out quite a bit. There's the contact. Oh boy.
And we'll do you one better. Let's watch from a cockpit style perspective. I like Vincent Loria a lot. I think I've become friends with the guy, but this is just a moment you can't have happen. You've just got to be more heads up. Anyhow, we have pit stops that have happened. Ryan Patty has taken the race lead out of the pit lane, just like he had going in. And this will keep car 30 out ahead. Let's bring him in and have you talk to him, Zach.
Ryan Patty, P1 in stage 1. Really brought it home there. I know there was a little bit of confusion with thinking there might have been a caution there, but hey, you brought it home clean and green, and now you have a chance to get some pit stops underway. How you feeling?
Yeah, I feel really good. I honestly, I kind of thought all hope was lost to win the stage. I wanted to put a push on there, but as I was coming through the field, I lost track of who was who, and I thought I finished P3, maybe P4 in the stage. I didn't realize those cars in front of me were actually lapped down.
Yeah, we were a little confused about that one. We figured you'd go with Vincent Loria and hang on for P2 in the stage, but it looks like you left him to hang and dry. You were able to hang on the back bumper of 2 other cars drafting off each other. You got to run right there at the line, and well, you what's the word I'm looking for here? You did what Brad Keselowski was trying to do, which was win earlier today. But hey, you brought it home. You're able to get the stage 1 win. How you looking for stage 2 rolling on through the rest of the race?
Well, you guys know same as me, right? You never really know what's going to happen, so it's just read and react from here on out. But real happy to get those 8 stage points. I mean, that's going to be big for the for the playoff picture.
That it is. You're up there in second in the points. You're trying to beat out Brian Smith and a few other guys, but hey, you're doing the best job you can right now, and you're locking up as many points you possibly can. So congratulations. We're looking forward to seeing you hopefully back up here for after stage 2, maybe even winning this race.
Appreciate it. Let's hope we go green.
Well, Andrew.
It's a very happy Ryan Patty.
That it was. He looks like I'm a little flabbergasted, for lack of a better term. I didn't realize he didn't know who was who right there at the end. I figured he was just going for the stage win. He saw an open opportunity, but I guess he didn't know.
Well, this gives these drivers a chance to kind of calm down and reset and regather themselves. Finnegan is trying to get back up to the field. Let's check in with him, and oh, you can see there's some wheel damage. This ruins his race. I really hate that for this guy.
Apparently, from what he's saying over the radio, he got as much as he could with the optional damage to get it handled and hopefully keep himself in the race. Quick update before we go green. Stephen Tuck has pulled himself out of the race. I'm not sure what happened there, but he has exited the racetrack. And he's going to be another car out of this race. We see these cars lined up single file on the bottom now, Andrew. But we look forward to the front of the field. Ryan Patty, Cody Eldred, Vincent Loria, and Jacob Smith. They're going to lead us back to the green flag for stage 2.
Low and slow into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back out. Lap 39 is lap 40. Down the Alabama gang super stretch. Cody Eldred the advantage down the back straightaway. He's going to have help from Jacob Smith, who now goes low. Smith thinking of only himself here, wants to go to the race lead and keep it selfish up front. And Dale Jr. has said before, you've got to be selfish to win these races at Daytona and Talladega.
That you do, but you can't ditch your friends too early on because they're going to be the ones that you end up stabbing in the back later on. As we see 2 more cars move to the bottom, that is going to be Clemens and Eldred to take away the race lead. Cody Neal pushing Brian Smith. Clemens moves up to the top and Ball moves to the bottom. Brian Smith says, no thank you, I don't need your help, I'm going straight to the front. Jacob Smith once again taking that car to the front. And he just, I don't know if it's just me, Andrew. Oh, Brian Smith in the wall.
He's going to come down and pull all the way down in front of the 32 car of Cody Eldred. Cody Neal shifts over to the middle. And now you've got Smith down low, Neal in the middle, Clemens up top, all right behind the 21 car of Jacob Smith leading the way out of turn number 4 on lap 41 of 111. We're going to have 70 to go this time by.
It was almost a Smith sandwich with some Neal in the middle, if you know what I mean. Talladega punch.
Oh, crash!
On the finish line.
Big one
at Talladega. Kyle Purcell's involved. I think we saw Joshua Clemens back there as well.
Cameron Thompson, Joshua Clemens, yes. It was a big one, but it wasn't the big one.
Just as we get stage 2 underway, Kyle Purcell was involved in that run-in with Finnegan from the bad push of Gloria.
Watch Clemens on the outside lane in the 44 car. He's going to get a push here from Cameron Thompson. That shifts him low, and wow, the 44 nearly took off.
You saw the camera there have a little trouble keeping up with him as Gilbert gets in there. Hudgens got in there as well. Gilbert should be able to get a lot of that nose damage fixed and get away with what he has. Another look at it from the flag stand. There's the contact between Clemens and Purcell. Yeah, the 44 almost goes airborne. Look at that. Thompson almost went airborne as well. See the 81 involved as well. Hudgens making his first start. Like you said early on, Andrew, Finnegan slows up so he does not get into Teseo. And then Gilbert comes in, taps that 7 car. Throws him back into Purcell.
A little bit of insult to injury there for the 227 and 7 cars. Let's watch it here from the blimp. Watch that 44 and the 7. The 7's just going to get the 44 squarely right there. Hook him down into the 01 and up the racetrack they go. Mike Jennings goes by. Yeah, the 44 nearly went up, and I'm glad he didn't catch air or anything.
Saw the contact there.
If that were the real NASCAR Cup Series vehicle, I think the 44 is going over.
Oh, I don't know if you remember Austin Cindric spinning around in front of the field in the NASCAR Cup Series race. Earlier on this afternoon, he almost caught some air after spinning around quite like that. Take another look from the fans' perspective. Just a hair-raising incident right there. That could have been a lot worse than it was. Could have taken out a lot more cars. But that's also playoff drivers involved in this incident, riding on board with Clemens. There's the tag. Oh, man. What an incident here at Talladega Superspeedway. Now on board with Purcell. This is going to be heavy impact for his playoffs.
On board with Cameron Thompson. Out of the Northwest, one of the few Northwest drivers here. Unfortunate stuff.
Looks like the only drivers at the moment that have pit for repair flags are Anthony DeSeo, which is saying something because DeSeo only got clipped on the right side through this incident. There he is right in front. Yeah, you see the clip right there on board with Finnegan. DeSeo really didn't get collected that hard. Maybe it broke a toe length or something when he got hit.
There's the onboard for DeSeo. Oh, he hit the back end of, I think that was the 81 pretty hard.
Looked like it. And after all is said and done, Cameron Thompson will be getting the EOL for the incident. And it looks like Kyle Purcell also has a black flag. I'm not sure what that's for, but he has a black flag on that 01 car, adding to his total at the moment. So, really adding insult to injury right there. You saw DeSeo take that car behind the wall. Purcell out of the pit lane. You saw the pace car coming out of the background. It looks like these drivers want to stay on the lead lap, Andrew.
They'll do their best to do so. Thompson down and away, followed by Purcell and Clemens. Hudgens just going to get out in time along with Nathan Finnegan in the 6 car. Well, this is an opportunity to take a look at what's upcoming for us at Pit Stop TV. Zach, next up, we go racing at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And actually, this graphic is a little bit skewed because we were waiting for confirmation from the Misfit Summer Series. We will be broadcasting the Misfit Summer Series tomorrow night from Langley. That should be a lot of fun. More information on that, well, tomorrow. But that'll be tomorrow night at about 9 Eastern. Then Tuesday we go racing at the Charlotte Motor Speedway on October the 8th for the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series season finale. It's just a few points between Mason Houseman and Johnny Wood Jr., I believe, at the top of the standings. You'll want to tune in for that for sure to see who ends up being the champion. Wednesday, it's the SimRap Market Series season opener at Daytona. It'll be season number 2 for those drivers, and they kick things off in the high banks of Florida on October the 9th. Then it's going to be a little bit of quick math, October 13th, I believe, right? It's the 6th today?
Yes,
yes, so October 13th for the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval here for the Icon Cup Series. Looks like I didn't get the date on there in the graphic. That's okay, because we know when we're racing. It's Sundays at 7:45 Eastern.
As always, like we have been through the entirety of the Icon Cup Series. Shame that we've got so few races left in this Sunday Series season. Say that 5 times fast.
Well, you say that, but I'm excited to see who wins this championship once and for all.
Yeah, but then we got nothing to do on Sundays.
Yeah, well, I mean, there is football. I hear you. Well, but they do run a winter series here in the Icon Cup Series. So they do run a winter series. They keep these drivers active through the winter on Sunday evenings. But for now, we'll go back green flag here in stage number 2, racing to the end of lap 72. Out of turn number 2, Widener down low, Smith up top.
That's a big move right there.
2 Smiths up top, followed by Adam Ball.
Chase Lewis back there with a big move up to the top, and now you see the top line breaking apart. A lot of drivers moving down to the bottom line. Looks like it's going to be Widener and Neal pushing forward with the bottom line. Everyone else rotating up to the top. Now that we've had a caution for the first time in a stage, Andrew, where do we think this places the field strategy on whether or not these drivers are going to have enough to the end of the stage, those who did not pit under the caution, that is, or
well, everybody
saved enough?
Everybody but Widener pitted for fuel. Everybody came in except for that 95 car. They all knew what the situation was. Come in, get fuel. Widener, for some reason, stayed out under that caution while we took all those replays. So I'm a little confused by that, but everybody else, they know the game. Can come in, get that fuel, and try and stretch it out. So let's see, to the end of 72, 20 laps from now is 67. They'll still have to pit, I think.
3 out of 5 drivers inside the top 5 for stage points are playoff drivers. Ryan Smith, Adam Ball, Charlie Widener leading that bottom line. More and more drivers, Andrew, are moving down to that bottom line. Sean Purcell seems to be at an impasse on where he wants to go, and now he's a little stuck in the middle. Now, back down to the bottom line in front of Chase Lewis. The lanes have defined themselves, and now we see when they're going to form up, when these drivers are going to try to make moves, and that bottom line seems to have a better form than the top line does, even though they're closer together.
So everything's changing. I want to talk about a guy real quick, Mike Jennings, that we have not seen here in a long time. It has been a while since we've seen him with Collar City Racing in this Icon Cup Series. I don't know if he raced last week or not, but this is my first time seeing him at the racetrack, the virtual racetrack, in months. And it is good to see Mike Jennings back in the field. Mike, thanks for being here tonight. It's been a long time since we've seen you, and boy, is it good to see the 16 car back in this field, inside the top 10 as well, racing in 4th currently. Mike Jennings back in the fold here for the Icon Cup Series, back with these guys as they work down the back straightaway here. Ryan Smith going to lead the top side. He's got Adam Ball, Vincent Loria, and Ryan Patty up there. And you know, we used to cover a series early this year. Do you recall? They did a whole lot of Daytona, Talladega, and Atlanta. The SARG Super Speedway Series. Do you recall them?
I do.
And
very good racing. Had a lot of notable drivers in there as well.
Absolutely. And we had a saying every race, hurry up and wait. That's where we're at right now for these guys. Hurry up and wait. You see, they're giving each other some space. They don't want to crash. They just want to get through this stage and get to pit stops. We're in a hurry up and wait formation.
You know, it's funny, Andrew, that you bring up history here at Pit Stop TV. A little history lesson for all our viewers at home. When Pit Stop TV was first forming, it was all Andrew, and he was doing a lot of commentary and voiceovers on news and updates regarding the NASCAR console games, which, you know, I was talking to our good friend David Levine about NASCAR YouTubers throughout the community that are starting to come up through the ranks and becoming broadcasters at local tracks. And, you know, I told him, whoa, big wiggle by Gilbert. I told him, you know, what is it with all these NASCAR YouTubers now coming up and becoming commentators? And he said, well, have you talked to Andrew lately?
Hey, that's
mainly
me.
Noting. Yeah, I think that is you, especially since the fact that you have been doing a lot more announcing other than the Pit Stop TV mic. If you've been over to Hickory Motor Speedway a few times, he's been on the hot mic for a few of the local series divisions, and I'd like to say that those talents are absolutely getting recognized, and congratulations again, Andrew, on those awesome opportunities.
Yeah, so it was the Carolina Crate Modifieds and Carolina Pro Late Models recently that I've done some work with for Pit Road TV. A far cry away from Talladega Super Speedway and the NASCAR Cup Series, but one day maybe, right?
One day.
Yeah, one day. And on your subject real quick on this tangent, before we come back to reality, I guess, with the series, because I gotta mention this 3-car getaway here of Widener, Neal, and Purcell is rather impressive. They're pulling away from Loria, Patty, and everybody else. Widener leading the way is short on fuel. He's gonna have to pit, likely on his own. Anyways, I want to recognize the talents of a new friend of mine, Jonathan Ramos, and IDK player, because he has become a very, very interesting talent to listen to. and watch on short track racing across the Midwest and parts of Tennessee. Does a lot of work at National Fairgrounds Speedway, where he's local to. Also does a lot of work with Track TV and Racing America. It's been a lot of fun to see where his career has gone in a short time. So I'm not the only one making the move into real-world broadcasting from the iRacing.com service. There's a lot of us trying to do it, and it starts and is in part thanks to leagues like the Icon Cup Series this evening. And boy, we could not do it without you guys. So this long commitment of a year of racing with the Icon Cup Series pays off in some ways. Guys, thank you for what you do. Anyhow, we've got now 3 playoff drivers in the top 5, and well, that now changes to 3 again, as Mike Jennings and Vincent Loria race back and forth. Remember, the Icon Cup Series, we say it every week, only the top 5 earn stage points. That's so important because usually you expect 10. That's what you get in the NASCAR Cup Series, the BRB, Butker Cup Series is what you expect, right? 10 cars get stage points. No, that's not the case here, only 5. So it changes things up a little bit, and it makes a very small window to watch. And now, Jennings gets left behind. Patty is the first car out of the top 5.
We don't say it every weekend, but we've been saying it all race. The hands change quickly here at Talladega as Jacob Smith now moves up to the middle line. He's going to try to bring that 16 car of Jennings with him. Chase Lewis pops into the middle line as well. He takes a peek to the third lane, decides to come back down to the bottom right behind Patty, in between him and Eldred, who moves up to the top as well. So you've got a 3-car tandem right there. You've got a 3-car tandem in the middle. You got a 4-car tandem up in front. But Loria is closing that gap up to Brian Smith. Those two seem to find themselves around each other once again. 2 of the most competitive cars in the field, and, you know, with them being up front most of the time, it's kind of a miss not to find them so close to each other. So, even at Talladega, they can't seem to escape each other as Widener continues to lead the way, single file on the bottom. Cody Neal, Sean Purcell, Jacob Smith. I'm going to state this for the record, Andrew. I think Jacob Smith is probably one of the most aggressive super speedway races out here that we've seen over the last few weeks, because he will make friends quickly and ditch them just as fast. Jacob
Smith staying aggressive here, moving around. 1 car way up there, that's Cody Eldred in the wall. Maybe in the wall. He might have just touched it, right behind Kyle Gilbert.
He definitely touched it. Saw it out of the backhand of your screen. He touched it barely, and it cost him some ground. Not too much damage on the right side of that car, though, so he's going to keep it rolling back to single file racing. Looks like everyone's single file now.
Single file through the entire field now. Everybody running around the bottom side of the racetrack, all chasing Charlie Widener, leading laps here at Talladega Superspeedway, which is all fine and dandy. But if you recall, he's the one driver that stayed out under that most recent caution flag. He's going to have to pit earlier than anybody else is in this stage. He's already coming up on lap 19 of his run, and yes, you can save fuel under that caution, but you're still not going to be as well off as if you pitted and topped off. I just don't think the track position was worth it. I think you need to get fuel every caution you can.
I can't disagree with that.
Well, regardless, it's a beautiful App State Mountaineers Toyota Camry. And our minds for the last week and a half have been with everybody impacted by Hurricane Helene. Myself, my family, we were impacted, yes, but to a very small degree. We lost internet for a handful of days, which, yes, had an impact on us and our lives, but gosh, if you compare it to what some people have gone through and continue to go through in western North Carolina and eastern Tennessee, northwestern, if you will, South Carolina, and northeastern Georgia, when you compare it to what some of these families and people have gone through, it pales in comparison. So if you can, I invite you to look into how you can support those in need. Team Rubicon has been one example, shouted out by even NASCAR Cup Series race winner Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Operation Airdrop has been one that I've seen around a lot. Hurricane Helene definitely made an impact on western North Carolina, especially in surrounding areas, and some places will never be the same. Some places will take years and years to rebuild. It's just unimaginable what's happened. So again, I invite everybody to take a look. A Google search is fine because you can find a lot of information with just a Google search to find out how you can support those who really, really need it right now. And for those of you down in Florida, the time is nigh. You need to get out. There's Hurricane Milton on the way. It may strengthen to a Category 5. It may weaken again. Personally, I follow along with Ryan Hall on the internet, on YouTube. He's got a lot of great information. He's talking about how it could strengthen to a Category 5 at one point, then weaken back down by landfall. But the time is now to get out, especially of western Florida, and get to higher ground. Anyways, Zach, we've got a race to cover. Lap 59 now, 111. Charlie Widener leads, and the pit window for him has opened. Everybody else, it's opening soon, but we expect that 95 car down at any point in time, really.
If I was Charlie Widener, I'd pit as soon as humanly possible. Spend as less time on pit road as you possibly can. Do not waste any more time, because you're going to lose a handful of time. You might even get lapped by the time we come back around and complete this stage. But
what I think he's waiting on is a caution.
We've only had one. We've had 2 cautions so far, and one of them was first stage caution. So this early on in the race, I wouldn't be too sure about getting that caution. And Charlie Widener has just called out over the radio that he is pitting. Hold on, more cars are coming with him. What is happening here? I'm hearing a lot of cars calling out over the radio that they're pitting. Robert Bluin, Charlie Widener. Early. Oh wow.
Neal, Loria, Purcell, Jacob Smith, Robert Bluin, Kyle Gilbert, all come in with this 95 car of Charlie Widener. That's going to save his race.
Black flag, Sean Purcell.
Oh, man. You see him
on entry.
Speeding up the left side of pit lane now to his box. He's going to be held there.
Jacob Smith there.
Kyle Diaz is in. There goes Loria right back out. Wait for the 4 car to leave. There he goes. It's Cody Neal. There goes the 95 of Charlie Widener. He's going to be saved by the bell here.
Eric Smith and Brian Smith just called out over the radio. They'll be pitting this time by as well. I'm assuming Ryan Patty will go with them as well. Jason
I don't know. Patty,
he's going to the pit lane.
Patty stayed out longer last time around, and yeah, he's going to stay out and leave Ryan Smith to pit on his own. He's going to stay with his teammates of Jennings, Eldred, Gunther, and Ball, who are all right behind him. 5 cars from ECR and CCR. They're lined up.
For that 78, Brian Smith pitted all by himself. He has help, I will say. There are cars that pitted down the pit lane with him, but they are ways back. There you see Finnegan just coming in. Eric Smith hitting his box. So there's some separation there between those drivers.
Well, here's the top 5. Looks like Jacob Gladgel just left on his own. Oh, man. Pole sitter earlier today. Thought he was in one of the best spots possibly to get stage points in stage 1. Ends up getting no stage points. It's been a pretty much non-factor since those pit stops earlier on where he was shaken out.
Oh, boy.
And he's going to pit here. So he pits on mark with Woods, Patty, Jennings, Eldred. He pits on mark with all of those guys.
Felt the 98 of Charlie Woods right there. That is not pitting, Andrew. That's serving a black flag.
Oh, man.
He got black flagged as well.
There's Gladgel into the box. There goes Adam Ball right back out. And now, where's Vincent Loria? There he is, through the tri-oval. Same group as before. Loria, Neal, and Smith. And there they go, right by the CCR, ECR guys. This is a much better situation for them this time around. They're going to have a bit of a gap.
They're going to have a huge gap. And 10 to go in the stage. This is shaping up to be exactly how it was the last time around. The only difference is Ryan Patty's not as close to Vincent Loria as he was before. But at the same time, you got a big group behind these 3 cars. They can form up quick and catch them. They're only 2.3 seconds back, but they are dropping quick.
Well, that last time by the flag stand was 10 to go in stage 2. A reminder, we're racing to the completion of lap 72 here. A 2.7 second gap back to 4th. There's Ryan Patty, along with Kevin Gunther and Cody Eldred and company. Eldred, Ball, Brian Smith is right back with him. Mike Jennings. So this group here could start to get in line and run as fast as possible, maybe. Whoa, and a big stack up. Cars all over the place. Cars going high, cars going low. Brzezowski, Gilbert, Diaz, Widener all stacked up right there. Well, this race has definitely taken a unique form. Not what I expected at this point in the race, for sure. I mean, we've got ourselves a 3-car breakaway of Loria, Neal, and Smith. Ryan Patty has a playoff point. Well, not playoff point, but stage point position. There we go. And they are starting to catch, Zach. They are making inroads on that gap up ahead.
The gap is closing. Just around 2 seconds now. There you see they've caught Sean Purcell. They're going to use his draft a little bit. That's closing them even further. They've gained about 4/10 on Jacob Smith, catching a little bit more of a draft off of Charlie Woods.
They've made up a second.
They're coming fast.
They were using the draft to those other cars. I just don't know if they can keep doing that. Well, Loria, Neal, and Smith aren't even trying. They're running the middle lane of the racetrack. Look at them. I don't think they're even trying to keep a gap on them. You can see now Ryan Patty moving the field up to try and get in the tire tracks of those cars ahead and get the draft.
They inch ever so closer, Andrew. They only need to be within about a second of Jacob Smith to be able to close back in to that group. They're about 3/10 away from catching a draft off that 21 car. There's a lot of drivers inside the top 10. Well, not a lot, but a few that we haven't seen throughout the day. And Patinko's up in the top 10. Charlie Widener's back inside the top 10. Brian Smith and Adam Ball, they've been able to get their strategies back to where they need them to be so they can continue rolling in the top 10. There you see Kyle Purcell dropping back after the wreck early on. He's just out here logging laps now, Andrew.
Yeah, he's now 3 laps down in 25th spot. Cameron Thompson's out of this race. Anthony DeSeo is out of this race. Stephen Tuck is out of this race. Brad Delph parked it early. In fact, Brad Delph ran 5 laps and called it quits. This group is now going the wrong direction, Zach. If you watch the graphic bottom right of the screen, I said Loria, Neal, and Smith weren't even trying before. I guess the middle lane is faster, even in this capacity, because they have made a gap, and now Patty goes down low to try and get the advantage through the corner, and it worked, at least that time, but then that other group has the run down the straightaway.
Not much you can do at this point now. The only thing left to do is just hold on to your stage points. If you can't catch them, worry about your own finishing position.
Coming up quickly on the end of stage number 2. Want to give a shout out to all of our partners with Pit Stop TV, Whiplash SimCams, ATVO, CC's Beezus, and Cody Williams Design. Lately, you've noticed some pretty nice paint schemes getting debuted by us on our graphics. Those thanks to Cody Williams Design, helping us look good and go fast. A lot of things not possible. In fact, these broadcasts are not possible without these partners on the left side of the screen. Make sure to check them out on social media, especially Whiplash SimCam, CC's Beezus, and Cody Williams Design, as Cody Eldred gets shuffled out of line by Adam Ball. ETVL is the platform we use for our graphics program. So definitely want to have you check them out at Engineer. But they are a little less so on social media anyways. Joshua Clemens getting lapped here. Clemens is down in the 23rd spot, now 2 laps down. We've had this graphic up on the bottom right of the screen for the last couple of laps. Ryan Patty chasing down Jacob Smith, Cody Neal, and Vincent Loria. That gap now down to 1.1 seconds and closing ever so slightly. 1.0.
They might actually have a
0.9.
run here.
It's going to be close. It'll be 2 laps to go this time by. And they know that too. They should pop up here, I'd imagine, and start to use that draft.
They're not really using the draft though. They're letting those guys still run that middle line.
They're just going to try and
The
go on
bottom line
by.
starting to roll, but look up front, Andrew. Lap car up ahead on the bottom line. Will they move low? Will they stay where they're at? Are they going to force these drivers to move around? Now, the top line comes down to block the bottom line. But does Ryan Patty say, no, thank you, I'm going to take a run? No. He stays in line, waiting, biding his time. Hudgens goes high. White flag this time by.
Hudgens is now 2 laps down in the 22 car. Well, 81 scored as 22. Ryan Patty with an option here. Does he stay down low? Does he go high? Here comes Evan Patinko. He's going to go up top. He makes a move. 1 lap to go in stage number 2.
He go for a stage win, Andrew. It'd be great to see Evan Patinko go for a stage win here. He's getting hung out right here, but he's got
Just
some
wait.
help. Widener on the back bumper.
Contact! And he's going to get split 3 wide. He's going to drop down with the run. Oh, with the draft on the inside, and now get a run here. Loria out front. We're going to stay on board for a moment, at least with Evan Patinko. He might have the best run out of turn 4 that we've seen anybody have in a while. Here he comes.
Patty right behind. Here comes the run from Evan Patinko. He comes up to the back bumper. Does he move high? Yes, he does. Patty goes with him. Brian Smith as well. 3 cars up top. The run fizzles out, though. They're not going to have a chance to get there. Vincent Loria is going to bring it home in stage 2. Cody Neal, Evan Patinko, Ryan Patty, Jacob Smith. Your top 5, and only Loria and Patty will receive stage points here. So that is going to be a good stage points day for those 2 cars.
There you see it, stage winner, Vincent Loria. The CC's caution will come out. Patinko will go 3rd in that stage. Had a run there at the end, just not enough time to make something with it. Patty pushed him for all he was worth and just couldn't quite get there. While these drivers cool down at the back end here of stage number 2, we'll take a step aside and be back to you in just a moment with more action from Talladega. Welcome back to the virtual Talladega Super Speedway, where Jacob Gladulich ran out of fuel as the stage ended. He comes back to pit lane, gets fuel, will head back out. For a moment was scored even as the race leader, but he will head to the back end of the field and have to work his way back forward once again. This guy having some rough luck this evening. A lot of work to do for that 14 car, even though he sat on pole this evening. And with that in mind, we will chat with our Stage 2 winner. Going to be, of course, Vincent Loria, with a commanding Stage 2 victory. Pit strategy has worked out nicely for this bunch at KU Motorsports. And Vincent, it all works to perfection there in Stage 2 to get you the Stage 2 win. But can you get the race win tonight?
I have no idea, man. I haven't been racing too much recently, so I'm just glad to get a stage win, man. That was cool. I think part of it is the pit stops, honestly. I feel like I'm flying compared to everyone else when I'm going down pit road, or slowing down to get in the pits. So I think that plays a big factor. I don't know how much of a factor that'll play, towards the end of the race, because it seems like even there on a 10-lap run to the end of the stage, that bigger group's always gonna eventually catch. So I think this will be a normal race to the end. I don't think it'll be a bunch of separate packs. So we'll see. It should be interesting.
How about what happened at the end of Stage 1 there with Nathan Finnegan? What did you see from your perspective?
He jumps down in front of my line. I'm pushing. I was pushing myself for the stage win. I'm pushing. In my eyes, I see the lapped cars there, and I see that there's cars on the top, but he feints towards the middle of the track, and then as soon as he does that, I'm thinking he wants me to shove him through the middle, so I go to push him, and he lets off the gas, and then starts to turn back towards the other guys, and by that point, unless I stood on the brakes, there was nothing I could do. So unfortunate racing incident, but I'm not thinking too much about it.
Well, we'll turn things back over to you and KU Motorsports as you'll control the restart here. It looks like, aside from Kyle Gilbert, you have the top 4. Best of luck. You're in Stage 3.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it, man.
Vincent Loria, definitely some interesting feedback, Zach. I know I had my opinions earlier, and he has his opinions now, and I'm sure Nathan Finnegan's got his opinions. I'm sure you have your opinions. The crowd has their opinions. Opinions. That's the name of the game here as we begin Stage number 3.
That we do. Back into the Geico restart zone. Vincent Loria is going to lead us down low and slow. That's how you put it early on. Green flag back in the air at Talladega.
Down the Alabama Gang super stretch. The back straightaway at Talladega, the longest of any oval in NASCAR. Kyle Gilbert going to take over the race lead. Car 227 leading the way now on the outside lane. He's got help from Cody Neal, who's got help from Adam Ball, then Charlie Widener and Chase Lewis. Down low, it's Loria, Smith, Patinko, Gunther, and Brzezowski finally back on the lead lap.
Across the start-finish line we go. Gilbert still leads. Cody Neal and Gilbert, they're kind of looking into the middle line here, Andrew. I don't know about that one. Got back in line with the top three. Everyone still single file, double wide. We got one car pushing up to the top. That's Chase Lewis. There you see Hudges way back there, out of the draft completely. A lot of moving around right now as we roll through stage 3. I got to ask you this question while we're in the early portion of the stage, Andrew. Where do you see pit strategy going now? This is going to be a little bit of an extended stage, but you can still one-stop it. However, the only difference between this stage and the previous two, green-white checkers. That's always a possibility. Overtime. Do you two-stop it? Do you one-stop it? Or really, do you just play it by ear? See how it rolls?
I think you have to one-stop it. You have to wait as long as you can to pit. Save some fuel here under green. Run half throttle if you can, 3/4 throttle, whatever it's going to take. Save as much as you can, pit as late as you can, and make sure you've got fuel in case of a green-white checkered.
Brian Smith pokes up to the top line. Middle line was trying to communicate with each other, telling everyone to just stay where they're at. The run was coming. Stay where they're at, and it looks like that might be the move, as that middle line is forcing themselves out in a way. It's like a unicorn in a way, Andrew. You've got two lines. That could be the body or the head, you could call it, and then the horn, well, that's the middle line that's poking out and away. 4 cars clear.
One slow car,
that's
it's the 44 going another lap down. He is now 2 laps down, working on 3. A rough day for Clemens. He's already out of the playoffs as he's going to try and get back in with the group here.
No, Andrew, bringing up the playoffs again. Nathan Finnegan sitting in the 5th spot after that wreck early on. He's got that car back in, I don't want to say tip-top shape. It looks pretty clean and green, but he's still probably dealing with some slight aero damage. As long as he's got that wheel straight, though, I think he's in a good spot, which he does, rolling through these corners. Finnegan still in contention for this, and he's one of the drivers in the top 4 in points that really hasn't scored a lot of stage points today. He doesn't exactly have a buffer like Brian Smith does. He's got to make sure he keeps that car in a spot where it's going to be eligible to move on into that final 4.
On board here with Nathan Finnegan. Looking up at Kyle Diaz, the top 4 are all non-playoff drivers. In fact, they've all been part-time this year. Cody Neal started this year as full-time and kind of missed races here and there, ended up falling out of contention. He's now around the 20th spot in points. That entire top 4 non-playoff in the entirety. Sean Purcell was playoff driver at one point. Adam Ball is a playoff driver. Nathan Brzezowski, he's labeled as a part-timer, but man, he has raced a lot this season. Kevin Gunther is an eliminated playoff driver just like Sean Purcell. And Charlie Widener chips into the top 10 now. Oh man. Adam Buzzio, a magical drafting unicorn, a rare sight indeed.
I was about to say, we've got a lot of our BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series guys out in the chat tonight. Absolutely representing here at Pitstop TV. Glad to see them out here. Glad to see them all on Tuesday for their championship event as well. That's going to be a sight to see. Championship up for grabs between Mason Houseman, Johnny Wood Jr., who scored a win while we were away. There's going to be a lot of great action unfolding as we roll into their championship event next Tuesday. Well, I say next Tuesday. It is just count them, 2 days away for some great racing. And we've got drivers heading to the pit lane. Charles Woods is going to be taking that car down to the pit lane. He is out and away from the rest of the group, though. He's over here with Kyle Purcell, all by himself for the most part. He's already a lap down as well.
There's the 98 car pitting. The rest of the field stays up on the racetrack, lap 84 of 111. Inside now of 30 laps to go. You're looking for 20 to go. That's the mark you want to get to if you can. I think these guys can get there. I don't think it's going to be that complicated of a strategy game. You just got to pit somewhere around the middle of the stage. Make sure you have fuel left over if you can. So you want to stay out as long as possible.
That also kind of plays into a point here, Andrew. These drivers have been running the middle line the entire time. They're burning more fuel than those guys running the bottom, even if they are out there punching a hole in the air. So
technically, yeah.
We might see them pit a little bit sooner than some of the guys like Ryan Patty, Charlie Widener, Adam Ball, who've been sitting on the bottom. And I say that, Ryan Patty made a move up to the top. Adam Ball moved up with him. Brawl moves up to the way up to the high line. Patty, I think, stayed in the middle. So there's a lot of moving around right now. They were also talking to Chase Lewis, who is at the back of this group in that pink and black car, about being easy with the pushes because there was something going on with his connection. So now he's dropped out. Gladulus has dropped out of the lead pack. No, Chase Lewis is fourth. Who was I looking at?
That was Robert Bluen at the back end of the pack. They have similar paint schemes, both black and pink. But Lewis runs in the 4th spot. Oh, nearly gets a 227 sideways.
Oh boy.
Here comes Brian Smith on the back end of Vincent Loria. There goes Evan Patinko. You'll see him on Tuesday at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Tuesdays in Charlotte Motor Speedway. I can't get away from it, Zach.
Man, I wish I was out there more Tuesdays this year, but hey, things always changing in the racing world. Ran out of money, couldn't keep funding the Legend car for the summer, but hey, we'll be back in a race car soon. I hopefully might have some news on that front, but hey, we'll see where everything goes. Real race cars are always great, but hey, I love seeing all this great racing action here on Pit Stop TV as well. There's Charlie Woods going backwards after making his pit stop.
Well, yeah, so
I don't know what it was for, though.
The joke there was Zach and I, on different sides of the fence, take part in summer shootout. Cookout Summer Shootout at Charlotte Motor Speedway on Tuesdays throughout the summer. 8 Tuesdays and 2 Mondays out of the year. And we spend a lot of Tuesday afternoons and evenings, it feels like, at Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's where it happens. So a Tuesday at Charlotte just seems like it makes sense, but...
Yeah, fun thing about that, you want to get a little bit more of an inside joke. The one time that I have a part failure and I wreck at Charlotte Motor Speedway, it's Andrew who captures it all from the turn 3 camera. That was a lovely, lovely replay to go back and watch. You could actually see how disappointed I was while riding in the truck back to their garage.
Meanwhile, Lap 87 now complete. Cody Neal, the race leader. Jacob Smith in second. Kyle Gilbert third. Vincent Loria, the top playoff driver. Chase Lewis is going to drive by him. Brian Smith, Nathan Finnegan, the only other playoff drivers inside the top 10. Ryan Patty, Charlie Widener, Jacob Gladlich, Adam Ball are all 10th to 20th. And Kyle Purcell is really the only playoff driver that's seen trouble this evening, aside from... Okay, no. There's been 2 drivers. One has recovered. The other one has not. Nathan Finnegan has also seen trouble.
There's been a lot of drivers in trouble tonight, like you said, Nathan Finnegan. But I reiterate, I am going to say it the rest of the race now. Finnegan is still in a spot that he can remain competitive. There are lots of drivers who've been involved in wrecks tonight that things could go sideways, but they're still in a spot that they could win this race. Thankfully, my nightstand is right behind me, and I'm going to knock on wood real quick so I don't have the commentator's curse. Nobody call me out on it. But it's possible. It's still possible for Finnegan to win this race and hopefully stay out of danger.
Well, pit stops are coming up, and that's going to shake things up for sure. Split this field apart a little bit. Kyle Gilbert, Chase Lewis, Kyle Diaz take over on the bottom side of the racetrack. 3 part-timers, limited starts this season. All leading the way. Nathan Finnegan is going to pull up behind them. And they've got a couple more laps to go before the pit window really opens up, but it is technically open any time now. Somebody could pit and work back onto the racetrack, but they would put themselves a little bit short on fuel in case of a green-white checkered.
That's the big thing you got to worry about, Andrew, is that green-white checkered. There's so many variables that can be played into here at Talladega. You see more lap cars up in front as they go down the straightaway. Loria popped out of line, and Brian Smith is right behind him. Smith drops him, and I am hearing over the radio 95 is going to be hitting the pit lane. One other car that said they were going to the pit lane this time by. I'm not sure who it was. You see Widener on the bottom line, waiting to see who else is coming with him.
Nobody. Pitters.
That's interesting. They were calling out over the radio that they were taking to the pit lane. So to see everyone staying out, that's interesting.
Maybe trying to bait something, who knows? As one car leaves the pit lane, that's going to be hand over fist, dropping to 2 laps down. And look at the run the 78's going to get. The 78, Brian Smith getting pushed up by the 67 of Vincent Loria. A big run off of turn 2. They certainly aren't going to be pitting this time as they're trapped up top. They got moving quickly as Jacob Smith dives to the inside of Cody Neal.
That's a big move, but he checks up. He's going to let the 4-car fall in. That's going to stack the bottom line, and that's going to allow the 78 and the 67 to power on through on the outside line even more. They're side drafting a little bit as well, but keeping the momentum running, keeping it rolling. Brian Smith now drops in line, ditches Vincent Loria. I'm sure he's going to be happy about that one, but I don't think those two are on the best of terms to begin with. They've had a lot of run-ins, Andrew. We've brought it up already, this race already, but you never know. They might find themselves having to work with each other as well, as we are within Pit Stop TV, 20 laps to go.
Loria trying to find a spot there around Adam Ball, trying to get back in front of that 19 car and find a spot in line. Not going to happen just yet. Ryan Patty takes over the race lead over Kevin Gunther and Brian Smith. Any takers this time? The answer is no. The pit window's officially opened up for these guys. They can go a couple more laps. I'd say 2 to 5 more laps on the racetrack, depending on how much they've saved.
When do you go down pit road? That is the question. We see Clemens and Hughes right up in front. They're going to move to the top line. Look at Gunther. He's poking his nose out.
Whoa.
The season run forming. Big wiggle back there. Gladulus is going to drop back. Eldred is going to lose ground there. Oh my goodness, Andrew. These guys are starting to get a little aggressive before pit stops. Things might turn around here as we come back around onto the front stretch. Still no takers. A little bit of lookers, but no takers. As Patty continues to lead over Brian Smith, Cody Neal, Jacob Smith, and Kyle Diaz. So we roll through the front straightaway. I'm going to say it now. Take your pick. Who do you think's got a shot to win tonight? Asking for the viewers as well. Who do you guys think is going to win this race tonight?
Let's see. Anybody from 1st to 20th right now. The top 20 all in the lead lap. Everybody's got a chance to win this race at this point in time. Even Charles Woods at 2 laps down might have a chance if we get a couple of cautions. You just never know here at Talladega Super Speedway who's going to go to victory lane, how it might happen. We're going to ride on board with Adam Ball here in the middle of the pack. Is anybody going to pit this time? No takers.
None just yet. Seeing a lot of people, Andrew, thinking Vinny is winning 100%. That is one thing we've seen already.
Yeah, the fan club is strong.
A Patty Smith 1-2 is also one thing we're hearing about right now. So,
well, that's how they run on the racetrack right now. I think that's where that comment is coming from. Yeah, the fan club is very strong. In the YouTube chat right now, KU Motorsports coming out in strength. But as we work lap 95, we're working, what, 16 laps to go, I think, this time by?
This time, Cody Neal.
There we go. Here comes everybody, it looks like, on the bottom side of the racetrack. Brian Smith, Cody Neal, Jacob Smith, Vincent Loria back there, Evan Patinko in the group, Sean Purcell, Kyle Diaz, Charlie Widener. I mean, everybody, it feels like, that isn't CCR or ECR comes in.
Looking at the scoring pylon, no black flags. Everyone made it in clean and green for what could be their final stop of the race.
Here comes Brian Smith, Cody Neal. Going to work out of the pit lane first, then Smith, Purcell, Brzezowski.
Brzezowski is actually back on the lead lap. I forgot about that one.
Yes, he is. Here we go. This should be the next group. Will they pit this time, or do they keep going a little bit? They're going to keep going.
I heard a few drivers call out over the radio that they were going to be pitting soon. Might not have been this time by, but it might be next time by. As we roll past the start-finish line, Andrew, we are just about within 15 laps to go. So now the window opens up that these drivers will have enough fuel in case we have a green-white checkered. But I think we'll have enough for a green-white checkered with our previous group that pitted about a lap or two previously as well. There you see the separation. Hearing drivers calling out pitting this lap. Kyle Gilbert's pitting. Ryan Patty's pitting. Nathan Finnegan's pitting. This whole group is going to be coming into pit lane this time by.
Mike Jennings is slow. He is into the pit lane, it looks like. Or is he? As here comes everybody. Oh my gosh.
Flagellant almost missed the commitment cone.
Whoa, they're making contact in the pit lane. Everybody trying to get to their box.
Flag, Vincent Loria.
Wow, is that a blend line?
Stand by.
You see him in the pit lane there. Vincent Loria with a black flag. Vincent Loria is going to fall a lap down. He won stage 2. He's been a very notable driver by the YouTube chat. And he is out of this race unless we get a caution. All right, here's the group working out of the pit lane. Kyle Gilbert, Ryan Patty, Kevin Gunther. There's the group trying to pass them. Cody Neal, Brian Smith, Sean Purcell. They all jump up high. They're going to try to race on by, but everybody going to get up to speed at the same time. It's going to be a pack race to the end. No breakaways here.
Looking back through, it looks like Gloria had a speeding penalty.
He was confident, remember, in his interview, he was confident in his ability to get to pit lane quickly, and maybe that has come back to bite him.
Just a little bit, it seems, because now he's at risk of going a lap down.
He's already a lap down.
Violation.
No, he was.
There
You're right.
In front of the group.
You're right. He cycled out.
Cody Neal leads the group, but here's the kicker. If we get a caution, he should be the first car one lap down. There's nobody in this lead group that he would join up with that is one lap down at the moment. The next car one lap down that's fighting for that free pass position, that's Charles Wood, who is somewhere on the racetrack. Not sure at the moment, but there you see the leaders go on by the 67 of Vincent Loria, who is just about sending himself out of this race for the win, unless he gets a caution. And that is what he's going to need. Still with the pack, so you know what, Andrew? He might just be able to get his lap back the hard way and a caution come out. There's Charles Woods.
Down the back stretch with Mike Jennings. So he's into turn 3 right about now. Vincent Loria is into turn 1. That's the gap right now between those two. So Loria is pretty safe at the moment as the field runs single file now with 12 laps to go. Cody Neal, Brian Smith, Kyle Gilbert, Ryan Patty, Kyle Diaz. It's the game of the Kyles. Did I say Kyle Neal? It's Cody Neal. Did I?
Cody Neal. Yes, you did.
I don't think I said Kyle Neal. There's no way.
I think you did.
There's no way.
Well, Andrew.
I refuse, unless you bring up a recording, I refuse to believe it. There's absolutely no way. Did I? I don't know.
Let's send the YouTube chat after it, make it their task for the race. Because let's cover one thing that we seem to be actually noticing being covered in the YouTube chat. Cody Neal. We've made so many talks about him throughout the season, Andrew. He has been the car that coulda, shoulda, woulda made the playoffs. He missed too many races and fell out of the points. Wasn't able to get it. He coulda, shoulda, woulda had so many different wins this season as well. Martinsville, I think, being one of them. Everyone's now saying that this would be a monumental win. Let's pull the upset win today, just like Ricky Stenhouse, not comparing Cody Neal to Ricky Stenhouse Jr., because he has been top of the board a lot of these races, and this could be one win that he could knock up on the season. He hasn't won a race at all this season. He's been in contention for so many. Do we see him go to victory lane tonight?
Well, here comes Kyle Gilbert over Cody Neal. Apparently I said Kyle Neal at one point, and
confirmed tape penalty, first down.
Yeah, the YouTube chat brought out the tape on that one, but hey, we're inside of 10 to go now. That was 10 laps to go. Kyle Gilbert gets a push here from Chase Lewis. 10 laps to go. Talladega Superspeedway. That's 26 miles, nearly 27. That's not much time now if you want to try and get to the front of this field. I know it's not a very large field, but we've talked about it before. This NASCAR Cup Series package just is not the greatest to work with runs and whatnot. It's difficult to make passes at times. So you've got to get going now as Chase Lewis gets to the front of the field, commands the race lead, and here comes that 6 car.
Nathan Finnegan has a shot to win this race. He is the driver that has not garnered many stage points on the night. So a win and putting him in, like you said, Andrew, would really help out with not worrying about the Roval next week. It would be huge for that 6 car. As we see Clemens down on the apron, Eric Smith out in front. That's going to allow Finnegan to catch a draft. You saw it out of the top of your screen, though. There is a pack coming up on this lead group. Gladulich, the leader of them. So there is a shot for some of these drivers to have a chance to get back to victory lane tonight. You see it a little bit out of the side camera, Eric Smith. There's the second pack. Compared to this lead pack of about 10 cars, 11. Gladulich, Eldred, Patinko, Widener. All drivers that still have a shot to win this race.
Oh, there goes Sean Purcell to the inside of Chase Lewis. Laps are winding down. Nathan Brzezowski is here. Who's going to go to victory lane at Talladega Superspeedway? The top 4 are non-playoff drivers. The top 5 are non-playoff drivers. Can we make it the top 6? Kyle Diaz get up there maybe.
Just about. Nathan Finnegan has a run though. So close together. These top 6 drivers. Looks like the top lane is forming up by itself. The drivers behind in the second pack are forming up in the middle lane as well. Now, like you said, Andrew, top 6. Make it top 7 should Cody Neal get by Finnegan here.
The playoff drivers are sitting back. You see Finnegan, Smith, Patty at the back end of this group now. They're sitting back, letting these guys race it out.
Don't look soon now, Andrew. Here comes Gladulich. He is really close to this front group.
There he is.
You see it right there behind the ticker. Loria. Oh, they're wrecking! Oh,
Gunther Diaz! Crashing on the back straightaway. Caution is out. This race has just opened up. And that is going to put Vincent Loria back on the lead lap unless he was involved in this.
I don't think Loria got involved in that one. So it looks like he'll be able to get the free pass here.
Gunther was leading this lane. Kyle Diaz behind him. This is down the back straightaway. Lewis came up to block. Gunther went low and then came back up, and Diaz was there. And Loria went way low. He misses it, so he'll be the lucky dog.
Looks like everyone's going crazy for Vincent Loria back on the lead lap. It's the prophecy unfolding.
Watch this here. This is slowed down. Lewis came up, then came back down in front of Gunther, who shot down, then up into the 26. He clips the 4 and the 78 nearly.
Kyle Gilbert got a little involved in that one as well. A little clip on by.
I've said it before many times. I will call anybody out for doing something that's a little bit silly. I think Lewis might have got a little bit silly here. He comes up to block and then adjusts and come down, and that's just too aggressive with multiple laps to go still in this race. If that's the last lap for the win, maybe, but in most racing series, you get one defensive move. And I know that's not the case in NASCAR style racing series. It's a little bit different, but in most racing series, you get one defensive move. If that move does not work out, you need to hold your line. Again, while it might not be exactly that way here in NASCAR style racing series like the Icon Cup series, you still need to be smart about how you throw your moves, and that was just a little too aggressive for still having multiple laps to go. You see the result of it. The thing is, I don't know if he's going to get the penalty out of it, Zach. In my opinion, and if we had race control maybe that was able to watch this and give a penalty out as opposed to drivers handling it, in my opinion, he causes that crash. but it's likely going to fall on Gunther for making a move and swerving and hitting the, what was it, the 26 car, I would imagine. That, or nobody's going to claim it. It'll go to review on Tuesday.
Waiting to hear if someone's claiming the caution. Race control, just ask if anyone is claiming the caution. I say race control, but it's just league admins who are racing at the moment. They are asking who's going to claim caution and take responsibility for it. Ryan Patty's on the final call, and it looks like no claim on the caution. So I'm assuming per league rules that would relegate the incident to be reviewed post-race, and looks like someone's going to get a post-race penalty after that one.
Yeah, that'll be a Tuesday review, and what's going to happen there is whoever is deemed to be at fault for the incident will get an EOL penalty, so no matter where they finish, somebody is going to be put to the end of the line unless race control, race admins, series admins, deem that as a racing incident, which I doubt is going to happen given the circumstances. I think that's going to be on either the 84 or the 31. My vote's the 84 personally, and this is nothing against Chase Lewis. That was just aggressive, and that causes that crash. And a lot of times it's better to, if you're unsure, claim the caution and race back up, especially here, Zach. Claim the caution and race back up rather than have to face an EOL maybe at the end of the day.
Well, don't shoot the messenger on this one, but let's take in, they're not playoff drivers. It's not going to have an effect on the playoffs. What's it matter if they get an EOL or not? Just call it a racing incident and let it go on its way. Keep it up for, just for the fact that it's not going to hurt any playoff contenders. Well, I say that. Caution came out. Changed the outcome of the race.
Yeah, it definitely changes the race for sure. Ryan Patty's the first car down and away on pit lane. He will rejoin the field here in the 12th spot, it looks like. No choose rules. These guys line up inside, outside by position. So Patty will line up 12th, then Cody Eldred, Adam Ball, Jacob Smith, and others. Kyle Diaz is okay. He's still in this race. You see his number 26. A little bit of damage here and there, but that's all right. The 31, on the other hand, Kevin Gunther, back in line. He had a little more damage out of that, but even he looks okay in that Narragansett, number 31.
Yeah, gets it all fixed up, and, as we roll down the back straightaway, Andrew, I would be amiss if we did not bring up overtime rules here in the Icon Cup
We're
Series.
saving that graphic. We're saving that graphic. If it comes out, we'll get there. We're saving that graphic.
But it's a natural attempt.
No. We're going to have 3 to go.
It's a natural attempt at a green-white checkered.
No, we're going to have 3. We're going to have 109, 110, 111. It's going to be 3 to go.
Oh, snap. You're right.
Uh-huh. We gotcha. Yeah, it's going to be a 3 to go restart here.
I have
nearly a natural green-white checkered. It'll be Chase Lewis, Nathan Brzezowski, Cody Neal, Sean Purcell. A reminder real quick about the Icon Cup Series schedule, though. This is race 1 of the round of 8. So where for the NASCAR Cup Series, this is race 2 of the round of 12, right? Things are a little bit different. This is race 1 of the round of 8. Then we go to Charlotte next week for the Roval, then Las Vegas for the elimination race on a 1.5-mile track. Kind of like a mini speedway, if you will. A mini drafting track. Going to be a lot of fun in the round of 8, and this kicks it off. This is going to be a pivotal day for this championship in 2024. Here comes the restart. Low and slow into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air for Chase Lewis and everybody else in the Icon Cup Series. 3 laps to decide it at Talladega.
Something happened right there in the back. I don't know what, but a couple of cars almost run each other out, almost reminiscent of 2015 at Talladega. But everyone gets it rolling. We're still green, and they're still fighting it out, Andrew, coming off of turn number 2.
They're stacked up 4 wide in the background. They will keep it green for now. Brzezowski with the raised lead and the 77 on the outside. The top side has been best for restarts all day long. It's best again here with 3 to go.
Coming to 2 laps to go this time by. Brzezowski pulls it down in front of Chase Lewis, gives him a shot in the back bumper. Almost turned him around. That was a shot on the left rear. That could have been nasty. As they fight around, they're still locking bumpers. Brosowski almost gets turned. We're coming back to 2 laps to go. Purcell up top. Brian Smith behind him. Ryan Patty makes the 3rd lane work. He's got Adam Ball and Jacob Smith with him.
And there goes Brian Smith to the outside of the 04. He gets left in the middle. I talked about it earlier. The Purcells not having friends. They just have each other. Sean Purcell gets left for the sucker hole. Brian Smith now commands the outside lane. He's going to have the run with Ryan Patty.
Moving around is the name of the game right now as Cody Neal moves into the middle right in front of Finnegan. Brian Smith trying to point that car out in front. Will they make it to the white flag? Won't they make it to the white flag?
Crash, maybe.
They hang on to it. Finnegan spinning onto the apron.
Finnegan onto the apron. Yeah, we're going to stay green. White flag this time brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. Brian Smith blocking for all he's worth. White flag, 1 lap to go, 2.66 miles in Alabama.
Everyone fighting for all it's worth. Adam Ball to the middle. He is trying to point that car to the race lead. There's 3 wide.
4 wide.
Playoff drivers trying to lock themselves in to the final 4. Adam Ball has pointed that car out in front. Will the Daytona winner point himself into the final 4? He does not.
He's going to get turned.
Spinning off the bumper of Chase Lewis. And a ball into the inside wall.
Oh, the 78 gets turned by the 26. He saves it, maybe. What a catch. Can he hang on? No, he's going to crash. Kyle Diaz now leading. There goes Ryan Patty in a spin. It's going to be non-playoff drivers to the checkered. Wait a minute. Watch the 95 here. Kyle Diaz leads. Then it's Jacob Smith and Chase Lewis is going to drive through him. And Kyle Diaz
wins in Talladega.
What in the world?
Have you ever?
I have now.
Oh my goodness. Playoff drivers wrecking left and right. No driver could stay off one another, and Kyle Diaz is gonna pull off the win. 2 playoff drivers finished inside the top 10. That's Widener and Finnegan, 2nd and 10th.
It just had all of the makings of a non-playoff driver going to victory lane. Yes, playoff drivers swept the stages, Ryan Patty and Vincent Loria, but when it all came down to it, it's a non-playoff driver, a part-timer that joined as of Watkins Glen about a month ago, that goes to victory lane here at Talladega Superspeedway. Kyle Diaz, in one of his very first starts still with the series, is going to win it here on the 2.66 mile, what a number for it, 2.66 mile Superspeedway in car 26. Unbelievable.
You want to talk about a crazy finish? Oh my goodness. I'm trying to think of a funny Fruity Pebbles pun here.
I got nothing for you other than he's posted to victory lane.
What a crazy topsy-turvy finish. I could say it was a Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs finish, but he's not Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, Andrew.
Let's go back and see what happened here to the checkers. Where is he? This is coming to the white flag. He is back there around 10th. There's Cody Neal and Sean Purcell making contact. There goes Finnegan to the inside. He's going to come back and finish 10th. But Kyle Diaz is back here for like 10th when we take the white flag.
Hey, we said it. Hands change at Talladega. It happens. There's Chase Lewis on the inside. One driver we thought was going to have a shot at a ball. He's in the middle right there. Look at Diaz just making it work on the top line against the wall. Lewis pushing the 19 of Adam Ball. Hooks him, going for a move. Leaves everyone all by themselves. Kyle Diaz on the back bumper, and Brian Smith goes low. Smith blocks.
Yeah, that's all on Brian Smith. He blocked him all the way down. And then he comes up and blocks the 21 car. Goes back down. Here comes Chase Lewis. Jacob Smith. Here I thought Smith had the win on the inside, but he left the door open and Chase Lewis drives right through. And Widener comes on through to second spot, but Kyle Diaz takes the win at Talladega Superspeedway. That is a crash course of the last lap. Let's watch it again.
what a topsy-turvy way to end this Talladega race.
They were 4 wide right there with Gunther and Lewis in the middle. Brzezowski down low. Brzezowski ends up 16th out of this. Unbelievable stuff. There goes Adam Ball off the 84 car. That, I think, might be a penalty. I don't know. I mean, Diaz had his nose down there.
He did. And then the Ryan Patty incident looked like he kind of came down a little bit. Everyone's splitting Brian Smith there. That was beautiful. Well, that was one crazy way to end this race. This is Ryan Patty now. This is coming to the white flag. Brian Smith comes up to block. There you see everyone moving around. You see Widener with a huge run on the bottom line.
Wow.
I don't know how that run stalled out. He could have gave a good shove to Brzezowski there going into the corner. But they get up to Patty. This is where the 3 wide takes over. They were 4 wide there with Lewis in the middle. Here's the spin off of the nose of Lewis with Ball. Right here. There's the tap. There's the spin. Adam Ball goes to the inside wall. That's going to be a meme, I guarantee it. There's the spin off of Diaz. So this is what we're looking for, Andrew. Patty comes down off of wide. Oh, they just made contact right there in the middle.
That's what spins Brzezowski, Gunther, and Gladgelich all there at the line. Oh my gosh, Cody Neal came in there
Look
out
at
of nowhere.
Patty. 360 keeps it rolling. Wow.
Finnegan blew on by. Want to watch one more time here what happened to Adam Ball in the 19 car, because we're about to talk to Chase Lewis, and I want all of the information before I talk to him. This is going to be interesting. We'll watch one more replay here, then talk to the top 3. Unbelievable stuff. So Chase Lewis here is going to move low, it looks like, right here. Moves low, Ball. I don't think that's going to be a penalty, actually.
It might not. You never know. The push was there for the 19. But with everyone making moves, you could really just sum that up to Adam Ball throwing a block. But what a way to end this race, Andrew. I think I speak for everyone when I don't think it's really what we were expecting. But then again, are you not entertained?
It was entertaining for sure. Let's talk to the top 3 here when it's all said and done, beginning with Kyle Diaz. It was a race of the Kyles at the end, and Kyle, you go to victory lane. This is only, what, your 4th start or so at the Icon Cup Series, and you're a victor here at Talladega Super Speedway. What in the heck happened there?
I don't even know what happened right there, man. I just took the top lane and just rode it all the way around right there. I know the bottom lanes and the middle lanes were having a problem right there, but just really lucky to get this win here tonight, and I'm excited to do it in my 4th start here.
I think I guessed right. Is it your 4th start? It seems like you've been here about a month since Watkins Glen, so that math checks. But how about this then? You're a part-timer this season. Do we see you go full-time with this newfound success here in the Icon Cup Series?
Yeah, next year I'm definitely going full-time, racing with my team at Racing for Freedom. So shout out to them. You know, it wouldn't be possible being in this league if it wasn't for them. So I got the hookup off of them. So just really proud to be here and glad to be racing with these guys here at Icon.
Driver out of California wins here in Alabama. Congratulations, Kyle. Good to talk to you for the first time. Hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. It's an awesome race tonight.
Kyle Diaz, definitely an awesome race and an awesome winner there at the end. He goes to victory lane. Let's grab 2nd place driver Charlie Widener here at the end of this one.
Charlie Widener, my goodness, man. Able to bring that car home in the 2nd spot tonight. Walk us through it, man. Did you even think you were going to be in that 2nd spot by the end of the race?
I don't know. Nothing went my way this race. I couldn't. Every time I'd pit, I'd come out in the 2nd or 3rd pack trying to catch the front pack. And then there on that last restart, I got hung out to dry. Just felt like a rock. I guess that kind of saved me though. I was able to they just kept wrecking. And I was hoping that the front three got together a little harder than they did, but I'm not going to complain too much about second. I needed that first to advance, but I'm not going to complain.
Well, you put yourself in a spot where you might be able to transfer into the Final Four. You finished highest out of all of the playoff drivers tonight. You might not have had as many stage points, but you're going to have them on position by the end of the night. You're gaining some points. You're gaining some traction moving into the Roval. How do you feel confidence-wise moving into the road course?
Yeah, my game plan that didn't work out was to try to get as many stage points as I could, because the Roval and me don't get along very well, and that didn't happen. So we're gonna do some practicing, just try to be a consistent car and run towards the front. I know a few of these guys just have way more speed at road courses than I do, but I'm gonna go out there and just give it what I got in case they get into some trouble. You never know, kind of like today.
Well, you certainly had luck and skill on your side at Talladega. A second place finish. You led 14 laps too. Certainly were a contender for this race win. Congratulations again.
Yeah, thank you guys.
That's Charlie Widener, your second place finisher on the night, Andrew. And now we've got a third place finisher waiting on standby, Chase Lewis.
You see it there in the replay, a little bit of chaos at the end involving Chase Lewis. Chase, first off, from your perspective, there were a couple of cars that went off of your nose. What happened there?
Just hard racing, I guess, and just trying to make a move for the win. I felt like I had a pretty good car. I hate a wrecked Adam. Nothing intentional. It just felt like he turned down on me a little bit coming down the back straightaway.
And you had a shot to win it there in the tri-oval. What happened? Could you have done anything differently?
I think I could have just stayed behind the top guy. I don't know who it was. I think it was Kyle. I think I should have just stayed behind him a couple more seconds, and I could have get that run down to the bottom, because I don't know who ran second right there. I think it was Charles Widener. And then I think I should have just cut down under him, and then he kind of come down on me at the same time as I was shooting under him.
Hey, this is the first time we're talking to you, Chase. First time for everything, right? Do we see you go full-time next season? A lot of these part-timers, including yourself, have joined at the back end of the season. Do we see you go full-time next season in 2025?
I hope so. We'll see. I mean, I hope I didn't kill nobody's points tonight. I mean, I'm sure I hurt Adams a little bit, but I can't thank them enough for letting me join in here and have a little bit of fun with them on a Sunday night.
Well, it's good to have you here, Chase, no matter what happened. Glad to have you as a part of the Icon Cup Series. Best of luck next time out. Hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thank y'all for everything y'all do, too.
And that is Chase Lewis. We'll take a look at the unofficial race results now. Zach, Kyle Diaz out front with the 26 car, led one lap of them all, and that is the most important lap of them all, over Charlie Widener, Chase Lewis, Cody Eldred, and Evan Patinko. And I want to stress, even though I very heavily criticized Chase Lewis at one point, it's good to have him here. It's good to have him as part of the series. I will criticize and have my opinions about everything, but it's good to have all of these drivers here as a part of the series. Even when I criticized the 67 earlier in the day, love Vincent Lauria, he's a great guy. That's just how it goes sometimes. But you see the full top 10, Sean Purcell, Kyle Gilbert, Mike Jennings, Jacob Smith, and Nathan Finnegan, your full top 10.
Running through the running order, great to see Evan Patinko with a top 5. I know we sing his praises a lot, so it's great to see him running inside the top 5, but Robert Bluen is your next car outside of the top 10 in the 11th spot. And then really, this is interesting to see. Ryan Patty, Vincent Lauria, Adam Ball, and Brian Smith, 4 playoff drivers, 12th through 15th. We saw all the wrecks unfold there at the end of the race, so you know exactly where they're going to end up at the end of it all, but still, always shocking to see them in those spots, considering how they were running throughout the race. Nathan Brzezowski, Jacob Gladulech, 16th and 17th on the 9th, Kevin Gunther in the 18th spot, and Cody Neal ends up 1 lap down, the first car 1 lap down at the end of it all. Crazy to see, especially since we thought he might have a shot at winning this race again. sum it up to commentator's curse, call it what you will, but Cody Neal, bad luck once again, and Charlie Woods ends up in that 20th spot. He was also 1 lap down at the end of it.
You can tell we've missed a couple of broadcasts here at Pit Stop TV because my voice is getting worn out at the end of one Talladega race. Oh my gosh. Anyways, Eric Smith there in the 21st spot. Yeah, the craziness warrants it, I suppose, but you see Eric Smith in 21st, Hanover Fist 22nd. Devin Hudgens in his first start ends up 23rd, 3 laps down. Kind of a lackluster result for what was a good run at one point. Kyle Purcell, going to be the round of 7, he jokes in the league Discord because he ends up with a poor result here, 24th spot. He's likely going to need a win at some point to get into the round of 4. It's just mounting against him now. He's had such a good playoffs to this point. This race really takes him out of it, but there's still time at these next couple of races at the Roval in Las Vegas for him to get back up on the horse and get some points to try and get into the round of 4. Joshua Clemens there in 25th, final car running, it looks like. Cameron Thompson in the 26th spot, then Anthony DeSeo, Stephen Tuck, Brad Zelf, and Logan Romney. Your top 30. Romney did not make the start of the race.
I think there was 1 or 2 other cars that did not make the start of the race. A 31st finisher, that would be
well, I didn't make the start of the race, so when I think it was Vinny Maestris, but when he makes the start of the race, we'll have something for car 70. But Zach, next up for us, we head out to Langley tomorrow for the Misfit Summer Touring Series. Then it's off to Charlotte Motor Speedway on Tuesday. See, we weren't sure going into this broadcast. We got confirmation right before the broadcast started that we were doing tomorrow's show at Langley. That's why it's not pictured here. But we will be live tomorrow night at about 9 Eastern, I believe. That time will be posted on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Excuse me. So you'll know when to tune into Pit Stop TV for that broadcast tomorrow. But otherwise, it's the Butt Kicker Cup Series, the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series on Tuesday evening. Their season finale from Charlotte. Adam Buzzio, Mason Houseman, Johnny Wood Jr., so many others going for the title on Tuesday evening. Do not miss that race. As one season ends, though, another begins. It's the beginning of the SimRap Market Series on Wednesday evenings for us. Daytona International Speedway for round 1 of 18 for their 18 race season. Then Sunday, we go racing at the Charlotte Roval here for the Icon Cup Series. Do not miss any of these upcoming broadcasts.
Yeah, lots of great ways to follow along with Pit Stop TV. PitStopTV.com, Facebook.com/PitStopTV, Instagram.com/Pit_Stop_TV, Twitch.tv/Pit_Stop_TV, YouTube.com, one of the best and greatest places to watch Pit Stop TV, YouTube.com/PitStopTV1, and X.com/PitStopTV_. One thing that you will probably notice going into Monday is that I'm not going to be in the booth, Andrew. We were talking about it during our commercial break that we had. I will be running the virtual road course world finals for U.S. Legend cars at the Virginia International Raceway on the Patriot course. It's being hosted by Go Motorsports. There's a lot of Legend car drivers that I've had the privilege to run with over the course of the summer, whether it be in the Young Lines in the semi-pro division. A lot of great drivers are going to be running that. Can't wait.
Well, we will see you all tomorrow night for the Misfit Summer Touring Series at Langley. 300 laps, I'm told. Do not miss that. 9 Eastern for us. Right back here at Pit Stop TV on all of our platforms. You've got to tune in for that one. Otherwise, we'll see you Tuesday and beyond here at Pit Stop TV for the Misfit Touring Series. Late model stock cars at Langley, one of the best combos in the world. You've got to see it tomorrow night. Regardless, thanks for tuning in this evening at Pit Stop TV. A big thank you to our partners, Whiplash SimCams, ATVO, CC's Business, and Cody Williams Design, helping us get to and from the virtual racetrack. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you all next time. Hopefully my voice can hang through the Roval next week because, man, these guys wore it out this evening. I can't keep up, apparently. We missed a couple of broadcasts, Zach. We come back, and, man, my voice just can't hang after losing internet for a few days. But we will see you all.
Water.
Yeah, we're going to need to rest the vocal cords this evening, it sounds like. But regardless, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you all next time.